Testing 1 2 1 2. What's going on? What's going on? This is Ola coming to you live from my Empire Pro Studios. Welcome. Let's just make sure the sound is good. All right, sound is perfect. Awesome. We're going to have a great show today. I got a few things to cover today. Of course, we're going to talk about this Sam Hunt divorce situation. And of course, we're also going to talk about Oshay Duke Jackson. We're also going to talk about Tariq Nasheed, the foundational Black American saga that's been going down on this platform. Um, I really want to stop talking about it, especially me myself not being a foundational Black American. I feel like it's not my place to really talk about this, but also I can shed some light on some of the concerns that I see in the comment area, and definitely we're going to be talking about that. And we're also going to touch a few other things. I have a few videos that I feel like we have to react to today. So it's going to be a fun time. Please, if you're coming by, please feel free comfortable. But also, if you don't mind, let me know who you are as you're stopping by, as you're rolling by. And don't forget, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share with people that you know will like this kind of content. So I'm still feeling on it. We're having a good time today. Just today, we just hit 10,000 views. Okay, so we're doing fine. We have about 600 hours in already. So we're gonna be talking about that as well. But without any further ado, let's get started. And these are sizable books. They are minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. So, as you know, the polarization that's created from the masculine and feminine energy is undefeated. It's neither wrong nor right. It's just what it is. I'm not a court of law. I know the social media right now, these days, has become the court of law, of public opinion. I get that, but that's not what I do here. What I do here is to basically shed some light on how the masculine and the feminine energy comes together to create the polarity of whatever you're experiencing, and how you can learn how to navigate that and create the results you're looking for in your life. All right, so I have tons of examples that we're going to cover on today. I do have a special guest here that is going to be hanging out with me, and I want him to come here, come on the stage himself, to introduce himself. We're gonna have a good time. Nonetheless, we have a few things to cover. I'm not sure how long he's gonna be here, but we're gonna have a good time regardless. Are you there? What's going on, Kenneth? You can unmute yourself right now. Are you there, Kenneth? What's up, bro?
Yeah,
Can you
I'm
hear me?
here. I'm here. Can you hear me?
All right. All right. Yes, I can hear you clearly now. That's good.
Yeah, I can
So,
hear.
Kenneth, what's going on, man? Trutholeg. How do you pronounce this? Truthologetic. Truth. Pronounce it. Help me, bro.
Through to the jetic.
Truthology. Trutho. Oh my God,
Through
that's
to
a
the
tongue
jetic.
twister, man.
Through to the jetic.
That's a tongue twister right there,
Tongue
man.
twister.
Go kill us. Anyway, my friend here is Kenneth. We've been friends on Clubhouse. We banter back and forth, and we talk about this old thing called the manhood experience. We'll talk about that. So he's decided to come on to grace us with his presence today. Thank you so much, man. All
Yeah,
right.
thank you for having me on your platform. It's a great privilege.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So you're plugging in from, I'm not going to say, but you're plugging from a very remote location, only high, what do you call it? High value men, high value, what do you call it? Only comes to the kind of location where you're plugging in from. So we're not going to review that. Only special type of people will know that. So, but without any further ado, I know we have some things that we planned for today. But as usual, this kind of platform right here, we talk about current affairs, we talk about men related issues, we talk about manosphere type of topics and stuff like that. So the first thing I want to talk about today is this guy called Sam Hunt. Are you familiar with Sam Hunt? You have to stay unmuted. Are you?
Honestly, yeah, honestly, I'm not familiar with him.
You're not familiar. Okay, so this
I would
guy
say,
is. I'll
yeah,
bring you up to speed. There's a couple of things I want us to cover. Right. Basically, the wife just filed for divorce. Okay, so but the guy is a country music singer, popular country music singer. Is a songwriter as well. I think he almost played in the NFL football league, but he never played. I'm he probably played. I'm not sure, but anyway, the bottom line right now, he broke into the news in the last few hours because the wife filed for divorce, and this is the biggest fear of man in this modern age right now. This is why people are saying they're not going to get married. So I'm not sure how much of yourself you're willing to share with us. But why is it? Let me ask you first of all, right? What is the main reason why men are running away from marriage right now? That's what we're hearing. I'm not sure how many men are saying that. I'm not sure the percentage, but the ones that are loudest right now are saying they don't want marriage, right? Why is that?
Mhm. Well, there are various reasons, but uh, from observation, first and foremostly, the interference of the government in the marital system. That's the first and foremost issue. So it all boils down to structure, that is centered on modernism. So it's the interference basically of the government. The
I see.
government's interference in marriage is what brings in, the court system, the alimonies and all these things that serve as incentive
You're breaking out there. You're breaking out there. Oh, you're breaking out. You're breaking out. I can't hear
to
you. Can you hear me?
women.
Yeah, you may have to drop back and come back in again. I can't hear you, and we're solid here. Anyway, yeah, you may have to go back and go back. So what he
To
said.
divorce their husbands,
Can you hear me?
and why
You were out for a second there. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Yeah. You're going in and out. Make sure your
I
signal
can
is
hear you.
strong. Yeah. So you're saying the government, the fact that the government is in a position where it represents more so of an incentive for ladies to check out of their marriage. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's a serious
exactly.
there's a serious latency delay going on with
Then
you there. Let me put you in the backstage. Let's see if you can go back out and come back in again while I cover the story really quickly. Okay, just drop out and then come back in. Let me put you in the backstage. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna put you in the backstage. So Sam Hunt, basically, this guy. Speaking of, the government, the laws, more so the laws is incentivizing people for checking out of their marriage. At least that's the belief system. Um, that is a real thing, okay? However, I don't think that's the major factor in any of this. Um, Speaking of the laws, right, favoring people or especially the ladies for basically becoming an incentive for them to check out their marriage, she's asking for alimony. Okay, the name of this lady is Hannah Lee Fowler. She's already asking for alimony. She's asking for child support. She's asking for primary custody of their child. This is another thing that men tend to lament heavy about. Um, she's accusing him of cruel and inhuman treatment. Now those things are extremely vague. Who knows what that means? When you say somebody is cruel and inhuman, we don't know what that means. I guess I know what it means. It means that the guy is misbehaving in the house and is probably erratic. The story that I covered about over the past few days with Kanye West. At least we see that one in public. We see how it's pretty erratic, right? So a lot of time people become that in a relationship where they don't feel happy or they feel frustrated. It starts with things as simple as this is what I said, but you don't mean it that way, but I meant it that way, and this is my point. It starts with little things like that. Let me see. Okay, yeah, he dropped back. Maybe we can get it back in, right? It starts with little things like that, and a lot of times men become when they get married. This is a marriage that's less than 5 years. We know that more than half of marriages will be destroyed before 5 years. We already know that, right? And unfortunately, this is another story of another divorce. Now, they're celebrities; they don't exactly represent the normal people, but these are white people, country musicians. They try to live as close as possible to regular life, but yet in less than 5 years, with the wife expecting a baby in May, literally like 3 months from now, she's expecting the baby, and she just filed for divorce, right? So the issue here is it that she found it so simple, so easy to file for divorce, or is it because this guy misbehaved, right? And but nonetheless, we know that the idea that 50% of marriages are going to be in divorce is one of the reasons why people are saying maybe marriage is not the way to go anymore, right? And you have a lot of gurus encouraging that as well, sadly, right? The other thing that we know is that the best human beings are created or raised in a family structure environment, right? So that's the other thing that we know. So I want to talk about all of those different things. Are you there now, Kenneth? Can you hear me?
Um, yeah, I can hear you. Am I
Okay.
audible now?
Yeah, yeah, you're audible now. Before you were going in and out, So
Oh,
hopefully
okay.
your signal is strong enough right now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, great. All right. So you were talking about the fact that the government incentivize or the laws incentivize women to be able to check out of marriage way too soon, right?
Yes, yes.
All right. All right. Good.
Uh,
S Go ahead. I'm hearing.
I think because when an opportunity or a choice is presented that
Mm-hmm.
is mostly tailored towards the selfishness of a human being, even if it's to the detriment of the collective, most times
Mm-hmm.
than not, that person would go for it. And that's what is happening now. So the women are like, they are destroying their families with their own hands because the government has given them that power to do so. A power which by right they are not supposed to really be with.
All right. So now, with everything you just said, it almost sounds like hi Tuana. How you doing, Tuana? Tuana, let me know if you want to come up. I'll drop the link. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna drop it just in case you decide to come up because I think this is a conversation that we need to have just in case you're available for it. All right. So you're saying now you I get it. Okay, it makes it easier because anyone, especially in the Western world, right, can go to the court. If they're not happy anymore, they can go to the court and just check out. Correct. Um, but also, there's a lot that goes down before that. Like, are you saying a woman would just be happy and she would just decide that, you know what, fuck it, the government is going to give me more money. Let me go and file divorce. Is that what you're suggesting? That's happening most of the time.
Well, it's not in all situations, obviously. You hear
Mm-hmm.
things like if you go look at the reasons why they are going filing for this divorce, you hear things like economic situation, infidelity, and one of the funniest, if not the funniest reason is
Mm.
we lost the spark or I am not
Wait,
happy
right.
anymore.
You said
Yeah,
is
not
what do you
necessarily
mean
that
by
he
what do you mean by funniest? What do you mean by that?
yeah, it's funny because marriage is not expected to be a bed of roses, and it's not expected to run long term on feelings. You can't run
Mm.
such a system on feelings whereby you have a rush of hormones, oxytocin and all those things, and this butterfly feeling in the stomach, and you run with it for a couple of years, then it dies. Then for
Mm,
maybe 2 years, you are emotionally checked out of the marriage, and then by the third year, when you are finally done with that man, not because he did anything wrong, but because that feeling, you've become bored basically. You then file for divorce and say you lost the spark. So that's what I mean by that.
mm, mm,
It's
mm.
funny. It's funny
Interesting.
because yeah, it's funny because in the past, when marriage was actually founded on something more real, these kind of things weren't there. A woman or a man wouldn't divorce because he's bored or they've lost the spark. That sounds so childish.
Interesting. All right. So you're saying this whole idea of feelings and emotions is something that's completely brand new. That's what you're suggesting, or that's what you're saying. It's completely brand new with respect to marriage. Before, marriage was about, what was it? What's the word? Duty, right? And
Yeah,
these days
yeah,
it's more
duty and
so about
responsibility.
feelings. Okay. Duty and
Yeah.
responsibility. So now today it's about feelings, and when once people stop feeling this spark, the butterflies in the stomach, right? Uh, this
Mm-hmm.
you're saying majority, not all, but majority runs to the court system. Well, you're not even saying men. You're saying majority of women runs to the court system, then file for divorce, right? And we have this story here. Let's
Yes.
not forget, right? We have this story of Sam Hunt and Anna Lee Fowler that we're covering here, right? Now, this is what the story is saying. She's asking for alimony, she's asking for child support, and primary custody of the child, right? As well as for each party to be awarded their respective separate property, right? So she's not asking for his property. We know that part. But she's asking to be paid alimony. Alimony is basically her livelihood for a while. I don't know for how long. This is in Tennessee State, by the way, right? And there's a couple of lessons that I want to pull out of this today, right? These are celebrities. He's a singer, right? It's a country singer, and she's expecting the baby. They've been married almost. They would have been separate. They would have been celebrating 5 years in April, and now she's pulled the trigger, right? Now she did say, she did say, this is what she said, right? She said the husband is guilty of such cruel and inhuman treatment of conduct toward the spouse as renders cohabitation unsafe or improper. Are you saying, Kenneth, that you don't believe what she said?
Okay, so if you notice, just focus on all the words used there.
Right. Those words,
There
right?
is no anything. Yeah, anything could be classified as horrendous. Generally, well, if we could delve into that, but women, they a lot of times they run on feelings. So
Right.
something that might not actually be, let's say, bad, if it makes
Right.
them feel somehow, they could classify it as something else. So there was no specification of an actual,
Of actual
misconduct
events. Actual
done by the
events.
man.
Right.
Yeah, of actual events. Yeah, not even the emotional abuse that they usually bandy around. Nothing of that sort. So they just use legal jargons to give an excuse for the divorce.
Yeah. So this is pretty typical, right? And I want us to really dissect this, because you're gonna find this happen a lot. Now, here's the problem with you young men, right? You think you can avoid this type of situation by avoiding marriage, and that's bullshit, in my opinion. Okay. You can avoid marriage as an institution, but you're not going to avoid the skill set that's needed to avoid this kind of situation in the first place. And we're going to talk about that. I don't want to jump to that. Tuana says, Wana Chika, please everyone go follow her channel if you're watching this. She says, when you all say before, so she's referencing you when you said it wasn't like that before, right? What year are you referring to? Like what years was marriage just about duty and responsibilities? Hopefully, I think I got it correctly, right, Tuana? and it wasn't about feelings. What year are we referring to here, Kenneth?
Well, I won't give a specific year, but generally, let's say in the past 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 40 years ago, at least the times before the 1980s, because in the wake of the 80s to the 90s, different kinds of liberations started happening, different types. That was really the beginning of wokeism before
Mm.
it slowly crept into sub-Saharan Africa, and changed the scope of what marriage looked like. But basically, before the 80s, you know, that's what I mean by before.
Right, right. So if that system, let me ask you a question now, right? Me, I'll be grilling you today, Kenneth. Are you ready? Because
I'm ready. I'm ready.
yeah, you will be my teacher today. Um, so what happened? I mean, if the system that was there before was so good, right? What happened? What broke it? What destroyed that system? And yeah, what destroyed that system before the 1980s or whatever we call it here? Because you didn't really give a specific there either. What happened?
Yeah. Okay. So, well, first and foremostly, the the people who were actually behind this weren't even from the African continent. Everything that's happening, for example, in the African continent and with Africans, married couples, they were actually a culture that was imported from the West. So to know where it all started from, you have to go back to, have to go to the United States. And that
Okay.
was when in the introduction of feminism, women's liberation, and then sexual liberation. So it was a combination of these things. They talk about first wave. I'm not too familiar with the intricacies of it, but they talk about first wave feminism, second wave, third wave, fourth wave. Now they're talking about fifth wave. So over time, there were more locks that were off. More freedom that was given. Freedom itself is good, but not all freedom is good. Just like you
Right.
can't allow your child to go drive your car. So once the government started interfering into marriage and was
Right.
giving women different liberties, which they aren't supposed to have for their own good and for the good of the family, then it scattered, the family system, and they started talking about things like they started trying working on effeminate. That is actually the a bigger problem. They started talking about feminizing the boys, making them to become more effeminate, more weak, less masculine. And for the black community, they started introduced. I don't know the name, but this system whereby you can't a woman can't benefit monetarily from the government unless she's without
So
her
back
husband.
then, a woman, again, we're still assuming that feelings was not part of the equation, right? At least not at this level that we have today, right?
Feelings was
And
wait, let me
okay,
clarify what are my
okay,
feelings. You can't take away feelings. We are all human beings, we feel. But I'm saying feelings
okay.
was not the primary
It's not
foundation
driving.
on
Wasn't
which
the driving force?
marriage. Yeah, it wasn't the driver. Yeah, it wasn't the driving force of marriage then. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. Good. Well, we're gonna have a good time in talking about this today. Speaking of feelings, right? Let me play this clip really quickly, because I don't think human beings care about anything else outside of their feelings. That's every one of us. That's every single one of us. Even when we're making this argument, uh, what I find is that a lot of people are speaking out of their own feelings, and they just camouflage it with something else later, right? I want to play these four clips of Fresh and Fit actually today, right? This well, I think they released this podcast yesterday. I'm not sure, but it wasn't from them. They were a guest on the platform, and I want to play this. I want you to listen carefully to what I am talking about, and we'll see how it played out, right? So let's get to that.
I really couldn't breathe. That you saw me.
Yeah.
I was gasping for air, and I was super emotional because there's a huge fucking dude who's throwing fists at this girl, and she's also going crazy. People are restraining her. We're in a very small.
So just to set the stage really quickly, they're talking about they're talking about the event that went down on their platform with Tommy Sotomayor and this young lady called Chay Means, right? So they're not this white girl was apparently in the room and she's narrating what happened, right, from our own lens.
Environment, and I freaked out, and you were very sweet to me, and you came and you calmed me down. And listen, I had respect for you the whole night, but when you came over and made fun of me, I was like, bro, where is your empathy? You were like, your life was never in danger. It didn't matter. I felt scared, and you could not give a fuck. You were like, I'm gonna make fun of you tomorrow for that.
Who are you talking about, Myron?
Yeah.
So you're saying Fresh was nice and Myron.
He was like,
so it's
he
not
was
even nice.
All right, so just in case you don't know who Fresh and Myron is, let me just make sure I show their picture up here so we can see them clearly. So this guy's right here, Fresh and Fit. The one with the CEO on this chest is Fresh. Myron is the one, the light-skinned one. So just make sure we have a proper setup there.
That's the good cop, bad cop.
So she said Fresh was sweet, but Myron was being an asshole. Okay.
Myron, what would you like to say about this? I know you're a very opinionated dude, and then we're gonna turn it over to Jenny for her opinion on this too.
Well, I guess fuck your feelings. I don't know, man. It's like
I'm not sure you guys heard that. He said, "Well, I guess fuck your feelings." All right. So we're talking about feelings. That's why I brought this up, right? So let's keep going here.
it's just another day.
All right, let me play the other one. 1 second here. I got 4 clips of this that I'm gonna play for you,
dude. And then we're gonna turn it over to Jenny for her opinion on this too.
Well, I guess fuck your feelings. I don't know, man. It's just another day in the office of Fresh and Fit, man. Like
But
confrontation
you're bringing
happens.
girls into this environment, like. You are. You're there facilitating your content and your viewership. You should at least make sure that they feel safe. And in that moment, I didn't. And
All right.
instead of being like, "Hey,
Well,
sorry, are you
Hold
okay?"
on, let me just frame.
So I would, Kenneth, you still there with me, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
Now I would argue that he was speaking off of his feelings, even when he said that. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would agree with that.
All right, good. So I know you kind of agree with me too fast, but he's but he's saying that fuck your feelings. It didn't matter. Now I'm gonna play the 2 other clips here, and I want us to dissect it. Because again, we're talking about feelings, right? We're talking about marriage being built on feelings these days, and when people start to feel disconnected, they run to the courthouse. That's what a lot of young men are saying. That's why they're running for the hills, especially when they see news like the Sam Hunt news. Less than 5 years of marriage, she's pregnant, 2 months away from having a baby, and she's checking out and asking this dude for alimony and asking for child support and asking that she retains primary custody, right? I don't know what happened internally there. That's my take. I don't know what happened internally. That will be based off what you just said, right? We don't know what happened because everything she said in that lawsuit is kind of vague. Cruel, inhuman treatment, all those things are vague. We don't know exactly what happened. And all the reasons that people put in divorce papers tend to be very vague in nature like that, right? Things like the worst of them is irreconcilable differences, right? And but
Yeah.
I'll bring mine in later on what I think and what I know, not just what I think. What I know happens most of the time, right? But let me play the 3rd and the 4th clip here, right?
Just don't watch the content, which he's right. And then she struck him first, and then that's what led to all that other stuff. She hit him first, and obviously I'm glad I was able to get in there and break it up, and it was under control, which is why.
Did he
to
swing
me, I look
back
at it like
her?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
So yeah, what's the stance
So
on
hold
that?
on.
Like, a chick swings at a dude, disrespect. So
So-
a guy shouldn't hit back. What's the rule on that?
So we do it live, right? So things are fast paced.
All right,
You're
let
in
me
the moment.
play the 4th one, and then we'll talk about it, right? Oh, let's see here.
I'm
So
doing like
he
this.
is before I play this last one, right? His theory is this: since everything is under control, fuck your feelings, right? That's the theory. I'm using the same tone, right? That's the tone right there, right? So
Consoling all that stuff.
Yes.
So we have our part to play.
Yeah, I mean, it was under control, man. Like,
Yeah.
it was 100% under control. Like, I
Yeah.
was able to get in there, stop it. Like, it was 100% under control, which is why I didn't feel empathy, because I'm like, bro, it's under control. Like, it is what it is. I
We've
mean, you
had
can
worse.
feel, the reality
You're
is,
gonna be
like,
a really good dad.
the reality is this: it was safe.
Yeah.
How you feel is really irrelevant, because you were safe. Like, if you didn't feel that way, I'm sorry you might have felt that way. But
That's all.
it was.
That's
but
it.
it's-
That's literally
but-
it. It's saying, hey, I'm sorry that you felt this way. That's it.
Okay,
Jenny,
but it was,
Jenny-
but it was a safe environment. I can't control how you feel. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna
You can't
cry and
control it, but you-
hyperventilate and stuff, like, that's on you. That's not on me. Like, it
I'm
was
not
under
blaming
control.
you for how I feel. I'm
It
just
was-
asking you to
It
be
was under control.
empathetic.
It was under control.
Well, I will say this: you have a lot.
all right, let me get your thoughts there, man. What are your thoughts?
Okay. First of all, they were all, reacting based on feelings. Like I said before, feelings is natural. Every human being feels and reacts on feelings. But if you notice, even from the last clip you played, when they were talking, and this is I'll use generalities. When they were talking, and generally this is always the case. If you notice the ladies, they were talking about how safe or unsafe they felt.
They felt, yes.
Understand? Yeah, they felt. Now, not
Yes.
not minding whatever is happening around them. It's just about how they felt. But the
Right.
other guys, they felt too. But if you notice, they were trying to, maintain to protect the last clip. He was talking about keeping her safe, even though she did not feel that it was okay.
Right. Right.
And yeah, and this is generally how it happens, because when you talk about the woman, she's not it's all about herself. I don't feel safe, I don't feel right,
Right.
what you're saying makes me feel, yeah. But in the man's case, he feels, but he generally feels outwardly. He
Right.
feels in an empathetic manner towards the outside world, and that is why men generally, their feelings make them to go out and save somebody. It doesn't necessarily need to be a relation or their girlfriend or their child. They just go out and save. They see a child in a burning building and they want to jump and save. But if it's
Right.
the woman, yeah, she might feel, oh, this child is going to die or something. But she would first of all think about, can I jump this? Will I feel safe? Will I? So that's the difference.
So
So
you're saying
one feeling,
the woman is more selfish?
yeah, a woman is more selfish. It's all about her feelings, her. But the man feels, but is more selfless. So his feeling is more selfless, sometimes even to a fault. Nevertheless, they both feel, but in different ways.
Okay, all right. I would disagree slightly there. I think we're all selfish. I think we don't give a shit about anything else outside of our feelings. Now, I would say that the overt and the covert thing, which you just alluded to, is real in terms of expression, right? In terms of expression. Now, I would also tell you that the feminine energy don't give a shit about you. It just is, right? The masculine energy is obsessed with bringing structure, safety, and security into the context, right? That's something that I don't want to make case for it. I want us to look at examples, and I always want us to focus on results, and then we'll reverse engineer it, right? If women are just selfish, right, and we are just selfless, right? I can see a context where that could be true, right? Because of the masculine energy. Now, depending on what kind of guy you are, because obviously we have a lot of men, they're in their feminine in this time and age. We're going to talk about that as well. But let me bring Joy Bones to the stage. Joy Bones, before I bring you to the stage, what's up, my friend? If you come up really quickly and then you can turn it back off right away, I can see you. Okay, and then I can bring you up. All right, perfect. You can feel free to turn it back off. Awesome. What's going on, J Bones? J Bones, right?
Yeah. J Bones. He said Joy Bones.
I said Joy Bones. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. What's going on,
What's
brother?
going on? Yeah, I just found your page. I found your channel probably maybe 2 or 3 days back. One of my friends had actually sent me a link to one of your videos, so I started sneaking around and going through your catalog, and I really appreciate your work, man.
Thank you. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. And what video was that your friend sent to you?
I've been he's been this debauchery and this the basically the overall nonsense that's going on with this FBA versus Africans and Caribbeans nonsense. So
Oh, I see. I
um
see.
yeah,
I see.
everybody's been hyped up and talking their side of the buffoonish nonsense. So
Right, right,
the drama is at an all-time high right now.
right. Are you FBA or not FBA?
No, I consider myself a black person. I don't get into that nonsense at all. I really don't. I think it's very disheartening. It's very disheartening where we are because I was born in Ghana
Okay.
and I grew up in New York. So when you
Okay.
grow up in New York, you grow up around African Americans, you grow up around Nigerians, Ghanaians, Caribbeans from Jamaica, Haiti, everybody. So
Right.
looking at the situation now, I can tell you as someone who grew up around everybody,
Hmm.
um, it's it's very poor right now. It's a very poor environment. My my fiance, she's actually from Israel. She's from Tel Aviv, and we were
Okay.
talking about it. Yeah, we were talking about it last night, and she even, we're a very diverse group now. Like if you, I'm a young man. I'm in my 20s, and
Okay.
if you live in New York and you're listening to some of these things that are happening, it's very sad. It's a very very sad time.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. And the direction that the world is moving is we need to be united. Like we don't really
Yeah,
have a
yeah,
choice, right?
yeah. We don't have a
So,
choice right now. We don't have a choice. It's a very sad thing that we're seeing this amongst black people in general.
right.
It's a very very sad thing. It's quite very disgusting actually. It's very disheartening and
Hmm.
because at some point in time, man of prestige, it's like the last couple of
Yo, just
years.
call me Ola. We're all men of prestige on this stage, okay? All of us. Just call me
Oh, okay,
Ola.
okay. Sorry about
All
that.
right. All
Sorry about that,
right.
Mr. Ola. Sorry about that.
Yep.
Yeah. So the thing about it, Ola, is like the last couple of years, the the trajectory has been nothing more than a unification.
Right.
When I was a kid, yeah, I grew up here in the 90s. When I was a kid, we did separate lines. We did separate lines. It was very visible. When the Nigerians and the Ghanaians we were in school, we've always been the top class. As
Mm.
far as education and basically setting the standards of what prestige actually, no pun intended, but what true
Mm-hmm.
prestige actually, yeah. So we kind of stuck in our own corner. We sat by ourselves and we got the work done. And
Why do you think that was? What do you think that was?
because of the discipline, I mean, we all come from the same place. If you fail a math test and you got to go back home,
Mm-hmm.
it's worse than going to go face Obasanjo. Your
Mm.
parents are going to discipline you real hard. So that
Right.
discipline was very strong, but as time went by, we kind of broke the code. We broke the code
Right.
of conduct, and everybody started hanging out. The last couple of years there's been a strong unification. You got African Americans and black Brazilians, and
Mm.
they lifted the visa veil
So
at
in recent years, you're saying it hasn't been like it was in the '90s. It's been there's
I
this.
can tell you, since this FBA ADOS thing started,
Mhm.
they've kind of low key dismantled something that we've been building with each other for almost 10 years now. We've set
Do
we
you think it's just social media or is happening like that in real life?
Unfortunately, social media will fluctuate into real life.
Right.
So it's
Right.
like, even, yeah, social media will end up fluctuating into real life. So whatever conversations that are had, it will
Mhm.
turn into something in real life. I've seen certain situations before. I've
Mhm.
seen situations where I've been in a room with some of the African Americans, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, where are you from? And I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Hey, brother, what's going on? I'm from Ghana. And some of my friends are from Nigeria. And all of a sudden, the tension starts,
Oh wow.
you know? Yeah.
For me, I'll say like this, right? It's all interwoven together with the conversation we were having, which is masculine energy, feminine energy, um, building relationships, nurturing relationships. Is all interwoven with that. For me, when I enter a room, um, I can't I can't cap that I haven't experienced that before, but it usually gets shut down immediately because um,
Yeah.
because there's a certain level of energy that I bring. No- You see what I'm saying? So, and then I
I
generally
feel you.
don't address anyone that brings that's shooting out a bunch of feminine energy. I generally
Yeah.
just,
Negativity.
yeah, they need to feel heard. I let them feel heard. That's how I handle that.
True. I feel you,
Um,
bro. I feel you.
yeah, I feel like if we, especially as men, right, if we start to build that skill set, I think we will all win together. Like everyone will win, right? Because I don't
Yeah.
think anyone that's shooting out feminine energy is just doing that because they want to be evil outrightly. I think they
Yeah.
can be evil. I don't think they're just deciding they want to be evil. I think there's something that happened that put them in that position where they felt the need to do that. Um, if
True.
uh, if they feel if they don't feel safe, if they feel threatened, this is any individual, and it's not just women or men. If anybody feels threatened or they get on the edge, they start being on the edge and they start looking for ways to protect themselves, right? And if anybody shows me that kind of energy, as long as I'm not physically threatened, right, then I'll give them that safe space for them
True.
to rest in their femininity, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
In America, it's called if you in America the term is if someone gets out of hand too many times, you just give
mhm.
them enough rope to hang themselves.
E- 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 exactly. That it
Yeah,
means
yeah.
that
I'll
in
allow
so
you.
many ways. Yep,
True, true. Yeah, I'll
yep.
allow you to walk into your own you walk into your own demise, basically.
Yes, because some people you just can't save them, right?
You can. It's not every it's not everybody. It's not every
Yeah,
person that you're able to
yeah.
fix. Some people
Mhm.
they're just far too gone. Their minds are is on a dark path.
Right. But my ultimate goal with this platform is to bring us all together, right? Either we're
Yeah,
talking about the gender war or we're talking about the tribalistic war. My goal is to be for anyone who wants to join me to be a voice of reasoning in all of that, right? And that
I
takes
feel you.
tremendous amount of patience because people that are saying what they're saying, they have their reason for saying it. I
True.
can't. If people are fighting for their own quote unquote tribe and fighting for reparations, right? The best thing I can give them is to listen and not to chime in. Especially
Yeah,
if it's
yeah, of course.
if it's not my, it's not really my lane. I can't
Yeah,
tell them not to do
I
what they want
understand
to do.
that. Yeah,
You
I
get that,
understand
right?
Ola. Yeah, that's because
Right.
that's definitely a topic of discussion too. Because I agree with when it comes to our American brothers and sisters with that because a lot of the black immigrants, it doesn't matter where you're from. They could be from. I've seen videos of black Costa Rican people.
Hmm.
Right now they're kind of targeting us. Like when you
When you
hear
say talking to us,
anything
you mean West Africans, right? Or Africans,
100%.
right?
Yeah, the majority of the insults that are coming is coming towards us
Right.
because we've always had that beef. We've always
Mm.
had that poison between us already. A lot of them they hold very strong feelings about us so-called selling them into slavery. And
Right.
it's when I was a kid I used to hear that. If you grew up in New York, you used to hear that all the time. We used to go to school and be like, oh man, you from
High school,
Africa?
right? High school,
High school, if since
middle
elementary
school,
school.
right?
Yeah, it's like, hey man, you from Africa? Yeah, yeah. What's going on, man? How are you, brother? Man, my parents told me that you sold us into slavery, and I'm like, oh man,
Well, if they're still talking to you in that manner, that's actually good. You have people that will outrightly bully you with the name African Booty Scratcher. Now,
oh
for
yeah,
me,
yeah. We that was a normal thing. I mean, we were bullied. We were and people kind of pretend that that doesn't have anything to do with it, but truly,
mhm,
deep down, it does have something to do with it because what happened is that back in the day, you know,
mhm,
um, I would necessarily say, Mr. Ola, is like, yes, we do hold on to some of that, because back then, when we first got here, and we're dressed up funny, and we're wearing the kente cloth, and some are wearing the
A
agbada,
little funky,
and
the armpit is smelling
yeah,
here and there. Let's not cap.
and we're wearing we're wearing the hot water pants. We just got here from Abuja, or we got here from
Right off the
Lagos.
boat.
We just got here from right off the boat from Accra or Kumasi. They used to give it to us. They used to make us feel some type of way. So back then, you would keep your mouth shut because you were scared. But now you look at the position that we're in now. We're on top of the game. I mean, anywhere you go,
Right.
there's no play. The chances of you seeing a poor Nigerian person in America is zero.
Right.
It's
No,
zero.
but the argument, right, is that if we're that good, why are we running away from our own shithole? Right?
I mean that argument itself is a false argument. I think that,
tell me why. Tell me why.
Well, we've made great strides. I mean, look at basically. I can't speak for the entire the continent, but I'll speak for generally what is always pushed out. What's generally is always pushed out is, let's just take the big brother, little brother, or basically the leaders of the Black African culture, which is basically Ghana and Nigeria. No disrespect to anybody, but if you tell an African American you're from Ivory Coast, they don't know where that place is. They've never heard it before.
Unless of course they're Oshay Duke Jackson.
Of course, yeah. Back at it again.
Back at it again.
Back at it again. Yeah. Oh man, I didn't even see Mr. Kenneth there. Mr. Kenneth, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm good. Hi. J-Pop.
Kenneth is there.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't even see him on the panel. My apologies, sir. My apologies, Kenneth.
Oh, no problem. It's all good.
Yeah, but Mr. Ola, I would never say that we're running away from our shithole. Many of us go back home all the time. I'll give you an example myself. I was born in Ghana and I grew up here. Just like any Nigerian or any Ghanaian, we can't be separated.
Right.
I went to Notre Dame. When I graduated Notre Dame, I went to Princeton. It was an abundance of Nigerians there. Every 5 seconds, I used to see a whole bunch of them going back into Abuja or going into Lagos or going into Ghana, building hospitals or building schools. It's not true that we're fleeing where we came from. It's not true at all. I'll give you even some numbers. Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. Let's give you some numbers. When I was in high school and the recession was happening, around Obama's term, his first term, Ghana had a higher GDP than South Korea. So are we fleeing? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, Ghana had a higher GDP than South Korea. But
okay, so let's bring it down to simple pieces, right? Why are you here? Why are you not going back, even if you're here by mistake in the United States?
Well, but we do go back. I mean, I just got back 2 days ago from Ghana.
No, as in go back O'Shea style, like go live there, like just.
Well, he doesn't really live there. I mean, he's only staying there for some time, but he's never going to relinquish his American passport. That's a stupid thing to do. But
why is that a stupid thing to do?
Because if hypothetically, if something happens, the U.S. Navy, it's better to know the U.S. Navy is going to come get you. until we figure. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I've been in that situation before. I work for I'm a communications officer at the United Nations. I've been in that situation before, being evacuated from trouble. Yeah,
Wow.
So yeah, you need that American passport no matter what. Until we figure out how to stand on our 2 feet as Africans, we're going to need to play.
Okay.
Their
So
game.
now I got to push back a little bit. You just said how to stand on our own 2 feet as Africans. That means we're not able to stand on our own 2 feet.
Not
as
right
Africans.
now. Not right now. Not right now. Not
But
right
that's
now.
the
At some point,
that's the case they're making. That's the argument that they're having. Like, why? Don't
it's a
you
wrong
go back?
argument. Yeah, it's a wrong argument though. Yeah, it's not true that we're not going. I can't speak for everybody. I mean things take time, Mr. Ola. Look at
Right.
I don't know if it's true or not, and I keep my mouth shut because technically I'm a government employee. But look at what's going on right now in Mali. Look at what's going on right now in Mali. If it's true, then we're very proud of them. I mean, I think we're proud of them, right?
I mean, the truth is that United States has invested interest virtually every country in the world.
Every country, yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly.
So the
yeah. So
idea
if
that oh yeah, just go back to your shithole. We own that shit altogether. Let's be clear. Let,
let's
let, let's be clear.
let's be clear. Yeah, let's be 100% clear. I sometimes I marvel at their ignorance when they say certain things like that. It's like, hey, Gaddafi built a great country, and then in
Yeah.
less than 30 minutes,
Thanks
America said,
to thanks to Obama, right?
thanks to
Obama,
Obama.
Clinton.
Yeah.
Obama cleaned up Obama turned what do you call it? He turned Libya into basically Southside Chicago in 5 seconds. So
Right.
yeah, so
You know,
I would never say
to bring it back home, right? This
yes,
is what
sir.
I keep trying to tell everyone, right? It's not what you see. It's deeper than what you see.
It's
It's
deeper.
not your bullshit stats, empirical data. This is all
Yeah,
lagging indicators. We don't know the behind the scenes. We don't know what's going on right now. The only thing we know
true,
is recorded data, right? The
true,
recorded data say what they say. For example, marriage. Recorded data say 50% are of your 50% chance your marriage is not going to survive, right? But we also know that as humans, the human experience is a lot more complicated than any type of empirical data. So when you look at America being America, or United States of America, and you look at Nigeria, and you can say one is shithole and one is the Western world. While that is very factual, there are deeper reasons why it is that way.
true.
So if your argument is always coming from a place of surface, very shallow place, right? It tells me a lot. You don't understand how power works, right?
True,
The way
true.
power
Exactly.
works is that, I can have invested interest in keeping you a shithole, and I keep this one afloat, and I
100.
have, and I have China, and I have my foot on their neck in a very slight way. I gotta watch them, you know, but I gotta keep them. I can't be all aggressive, and
Exactly. Exactly.
I want
Exactly,
men to
Mr. Obama.
start to understand that just your aggression. You're not a lion. You're not an animal. You're
Yes.
not. You're not no stupid alpha in a jungle. Okay.
Hmm.
You need to understand that you being loud, you're giving yourself away way too soon. Like the louder you are, the more ammunition you give the enemy to destroy
True.
you.
100%, Mr. Ola. 100%.
So the
And
idea that you go back to, sorry, 1 second on Kenneth, you go back to your country, you go back, like that's just always going to be dumb. While I give you 1 hour, and I can give you 1 hour, I can give you my whole platform, all of my, no matter how long the thread in my comment is, you can speak your mind. But we as men, those one that needs to hear, let's just understand that we need to move a little bit more strategic. You can't, the loud thing. I gotta speak. I gotta be loud. I gotta be loudest in the room. It's not the way to win. Go
It's
ahead,
not.
Kenneth.
It's not. Go ahead, Mr. Kenneth.
yeah, so what most people I don't really blame them, although I still blame them, but what they fail to realize is that, like you said, Ola, it's more than we see. Right now, Africa is stuck between the West and the East. So we're stuck between already the United States and the Western world, Western powers. They already have their sticky fingers in a lot of African affairs. Basically,
Yep.
Africa is passing through neo-colonialism. At the same time, the East, China, they are coming from the eastern side of Africa and trying to take over what is left and push out the Western world. So we are stuck between two colonial or two imperial forces.
Very
So
true.
if you're talking about going back home to to revive and bring Africa out of the mud pits, you first of all have to take out the sticky fingers of those outside forces, and we know it's no mean feat for a continent whereby the military forces, the power literally isn't with it. The resources they are in the continent, but they are not owned by the people, because these powers all have their hands in it through corporations, through agencies, and through the governments that they plant there. So it's a whole cascade of things. It goes
It's a
much
lot.
deeper. You can't just go,
Is
yeah,
is deep.
yeah. The
Yeah, it's
best you
very
can the
deep,
best
Mr.
you can
Kenneth.
do as a guy. yeah, the best you can do as a man is to do the little you can in your immediate environment. If it's your village, if it's your
True.
neighborhood, whatever
Yes,
you
sir.
can to do it, every little step helps. So
True.
complaining won't solve the problem.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Even if I'll give an example back home. You know, I've been very I can tell you, Mr. Ola, I've been very disappointed in this guy, Tariq, the
Tariq.
last couple of
Why is
very
that?
disappointed. You know, I've spoken to him before because some of us get a chance to actually meet with him from time to time, and my uncle built a school back home in Ghana,
Okay.
and I appreciate. Here's one thing I'll never do, especially living in this environment, Mr. Ola. I would never take away any man's accomplishments. His 1804 series and the Hidden Color series, pure genius,
Right.
master genius.
Documentaries,
No,
right?
the documentaries, and nobody could have pulled that off. It's beautiful. And also one thing too is like I'm not sure if you grew up here in America, but
Myself, I'm
yes, sir.
opposite of you. I was born here. I grew up in Nigeria.
Okay, wonderful. I grew up here, and I can tell you 100%. Living amongst these whites and getting a chance to listen to people like Minister Farrakhan, listening to people like just some of the real heavy hitters, Dr. Francis Cress Welsons and the Neely Fuellers of the world.
Right.
You look at Tariq and the elements, the way he puts out the information about white supremacy, complete genius. His
Right.
work is genius. It's complete genius. But his criticism of us is very, very harsh. It's incredibly harsh.
Yeah, but
Because
for me, right? I take
yeah.
it. I take it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I take it in
Yeah.
light, fun, like the cheetah pea thing. Like, like
No,
every
no,
time
not
I,
the not a cheetah.
every
Not a
time I
cheetah
say that,
peeping,
I
yeah.
laugh. You know, he goes in. He
Yeah.
goes in. He's very good at roasting people. So
He's
it's
very
kind of hard to draw the line. Is he actually roasting, or is he serious,
Is he
or
serious? Yeah, exactly.
is this
Yeah,
real xenophobia? You know?
Mr. Ola, you know what it is too? I can tell you something very interesting.
Right.
You have to be able to assess yourself as a man. One of the reasons why I became very upset, not upset, but I was very disappointed in him is because
Right.
the brother from Congo that was speaking to him,
Right.
that basically he was able to derive the uh the 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 uh the text of using it for the format for the song,
Right.
the government
Right. The
song, yeah,
song. Right. Right.
the
Right. Right.
song,
The song.
yeah. The brother from Congo that was talking to him, what he
Uh
was
huh.
saying was true. It was true. What he was saying, like Brother Kenneth just said, what he was saying was 100% true. Do we have plenty of people in Nigeria, especially the young crowd in Nigeria? Nigeria has some of the most incredible people in society, and I know that these people, if given a chance, a lot of these young people, they can turn the country of Nigeria into a better place. But there's so many different forces, like Brother Kenneth was saying. There's so many different forces who have their hands inside the pot, whether it's the oil coming out of the Delta Valley, whether it's the crops, whether it's the production of gold, the diamonds, the resources, and everybody is looking to dip their hands into Nigeria. So we're doing the best that we can. I think truth be told, there's so many layers that are stuck against us. There's so many. Even in Ghana, sometimes when I'm around, working at the UN, I see some things, Mr. Ola. Like I can show you some things. You'd be very surprised. You'd be very, very surprised the way the world works. You'd
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
very, very surprised. So when we're trying to tell Tariq about these situations, and he turns into a joke and an
Yeah.
insult here and an insult there, and y'all's in Africa, y'all shitting and pissing in rivers, and I'm like, Tariq, have you ever been to Nigeria before? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I remember one time I was talking to him because
Right.
back in the day I was very proud of him. He does great work. I was talking to him, and
Right.
I'm like, man, my uncle built a school in Ghana, and
Right.
we show the Hidden Color series. The Hidden Color series. It's very, very good information. It's something that all of us as Black people we need, especially at a young age. We need to start reprogramming the young children to have much more Black consciousness, to have
Right.
much more better understanding within themselves. So I was talking to him, and I'm like, hey, Tariq, I'm really proud of you, yada yada yada. And next thing you know, he does. I'm watching a live stream, and he does a song called "The Government," and He was the worst. He was the worst reaction, Mr. Ola. The reason why a lot of us were upset is because that's how we felt about them when we were growing up here. Those are the things that they used to do to us. They would mock us like that. Yeah.
Right. So
when we
you
were
could
children.
relate. Right. You could relate.
We
back
can
to
relate.
them.
Yeah.
Right.
Any Nigerian or any Ghanaian, any Kenyan, any Malian who went to school with African Americans, this is exactly the things that they used to do to us. They would mock us in the hallways. They would use certain insults that they knew
Right.
were much more with an African concept, were always to insult us. So as soon as I heard the song, I said, wow, this is just like back in the day. This was like back in 95 and 96 when we were growing up. Yeah, man, it's very I don't know, it's a very gloomy time right now, Mr. Ola.
That's what people mean by is divisive. Is divisive.
Very divisive,
Because
yeah.
when people like for example, for me, that's why I said for me, I couldn't relate too much, right? Because I didn't go to high school here, right?
Yeah, so you see it as a joke. You see it as something as
Yeah, I'm
playful.
like it's all laughs, I'm like,
it's not a joke to us. No, it's not a joke to us.
They don't see any derogatory things that Africans say to Americans as funny though, But for me, I'm like, there's no group of people that don't have a special type of name for other groups of people. That's just how.
That's true. That's true.
That's just how
That's
humans
true.
are. We give ourselves
Yeah.
names and we reference in our own little privacy those names, and
That's true. Very true.
we're not disrespectful calling people names into their face or anything like that. But and then for me, for example, this Akata Taitu thing, right? I see a lot of Nigerians and they say, hey, don't cap. Our parents told us not to hang out with this. I was like, no, my parents never told me that. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
My parents, it's a what's his name? And people, here's the thing too, Mr. Ola, your side of the culture didn't do too well with that situation with what's the guy's name? The comedian Godfrey. He went over there.
I have a clip of Godfrey I wanted to review. He's a dumbass.
He went over there to Vlad TV. Hey, you know why he did that, right? He did that because he was clout chasing. He did that because he was. Yeah. You can see when a person is trying to clout chase. He went over there to Vlad TV and he said, "Oh, Africans call Black Americans cotton pickers." And I was so what one of my friends asked me that. He said, "James, so y'all say that behind our backs?" I said, "No, there is no designated African. There's no designated African word that means cotton picker. That's stupid."
I have it doesn't make sense. I have a video that I did.
A lot of the Nigerians here, they were very upset with him. They were very upset with him.
I have a video, right, that I did, and I said what Akata really means, right? And that video, I'm probably going to end up deleting it, right? I don't think a lot of people have seen it yet, right? But the idea was to, and I forgot to explain there that because the cotton picker thing comes from a movie, right? The movie with Wesley Snipes, right?
The Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah, the Sugar Hill Gang, right?
Yeah.
And again, when people just take a rhetoric and run with it and they don't understand
they just run
context,
with it, it turns into a dangerous concept. It turns into
it becomes dangerous. You're throwing a lot of innocent people under the bus, right?
Mr. Ola, when this movie came, when this movie Sugar Hill Gang or whatever it is, when it came, I just became aware of it since this whole FBA thing and the FBA versus Caribbean thing started.
Right.
I never knew that somebody. I wanted to find out. I said, who wrote the script and decided to put in that the word Akata means...
It's just a follow-up. It's a follow-up shame insult thing that they were doing in that scene.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you notice? Did you notice something with what you guys were saying?
Yeah.
The Hollywood, the media, has a huge hand to play in the division, of our brothers and sisters.
True.
Because right from the time of the Contel Pro, is it Contel Pro? Yeah, where they fought the Black Liberation by Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Fred Hampton, and up till now they use different forces. They use the social media, they used Hollywood, so they always inject these things into the movies, into social media. So even though we physically have never called them cotton pickers, because they watch the TV and they will see a movie
and they consume
and then they assume
culture. Now it is, Kenneth, you're right. it's even worse because of one thing. Here in America, the most consumers of media are African Americans. They consume the most media. A lot of people don't know. Let me show you some statistics. It'll scare you. The most consumers of daytime TV are African American women. They are the most consumers of daytime TV in the entire country. That itself should scare you. So when you see this rhetoric, I remember when this thing first started, Mr. Ola, I was looking at it. I said, what is sugar? So I wasn't even born when the movie came out. So I was like, let me go and see what this thing. And I said, who was stupid enough to write into a script that the word akata meant cotton picker?
So they didn't write into it. The guy said, this is how it played out, right? He said this akata people, something like that, right? And then the next guy said, I do not
work with akata. That's what he was saying.
Yeah, I do not work with akata. And then the guy said, what does that mean, right?
Yeah,
and then he said, you cotton pickers or something like that, right? It was a follow-up abusive language. It wasn't saying this is what this meant.
What
right?
akata actually meant, yeah. But
then that movie is written in history forever. and then everybody's interpreting it that way, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So you see how crazy. And the one thing about it too is that you would have to grow up in our culture, Mr. Ola. Anything you say to African Americans, they are very quick-tempered people, very quick-tempered people. Their level of discipline, unfortunately.
I don't have that. I'll be very honest. I don't have that experience with African Americans. I just don't.
You would have to grow up here. Trust me. We grew up in New York.
So you're talking about the younger ones. You're talking about the teenagers.
No. I'm talking old. Fronts in the middle between that generation, they are usually very quick.
Because I've been here consistently for 23 years, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is,
where did you live?
Jersey.
If you live in New York. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So here's the thing, right? Here's what I found, right? It's very easy for us to start generalizing, right?
Okay.
And my experience has been quite different when it comes to quote unquote foundational Black Americans or African Americans, right? I have pleasant. That doesn't mean I don't have situations where it's not pleasant, but in the same token with Nigerians, with Africans, right? I have terrible experiences too, right? So maybe it's because of who I am and what I do in terms of understanding how human beings work, right?
Yeah, the way you carry yourself.
Yeah, I think humans are evil, and I think they're good at the same time, right? True. I think humans are incapable of absolute good, right? I think human beings only give a shit about how they feel. What you're talking about is that they have a tendency to read everything as condescending. Even if you're trying to appease to them, you're not appeasing from a place of pandering. They're very quick to say you're pandering, right?
Very true.
You know, that I noticed that, but I also had a cousin growing up in Nigeria that was like that. So it's hard for me to put that on African American. You see what I'm saying?
We were in what's his name? We were in a room one time, and I was talking to I was explaining to I had a friend. He reached out to me not too long ago about the when this thing first came out, and he said, because the ADOS FBA thing is becoming it spread like wildfire. So you can see people actually really.
Do you know why? Can we pinpoint why it spread like wildfire? Can we pinpoint that?
I think it spread like wildfire because of one reason and one reason only. Because if there's a beef that's always existed, then it's like fire sitting in a corner. You understand what I'm saying? But then someone came by and they poured kerosene. Kind of like back home in Africa. Yeah, you're trying to start a fire, so you pour kerosene into the fire, and now we're really starting. Yep. So I had a friend. He reached out to me. He was asking me. He said,
before you continue, right? It's not growing wide because it's such a great movement. It's going wide because it's toxic. It's negative.
Toxic, yeah. It's always been there.
It's controversial, and I want everyone to pay attention to that. If something is going wild, don't just say, "Hey, it's growing because it's such a good thing." No, it's toxic, just like the gender war and everything we see going on right now. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, and the gender war.
Negative energy is usually chaotic.
Negative energy. Yeah, nothing positive, Mr. Kenneth. Nothing. I don't know how or why we were created this way, Mr. Ola. But it's like anything negative, it goes so fast. Mm-hmm. It goes so fast
because we're entertained by it. Can we not? We're entertained by it too, right?
Yes.
yeah.
We're
That's
entertained
sad.
by it because
That's so sad.
the African Americans themselves, they have a saying. They say that a lie gets around the world 4 times faster before the truth can even put his pants on.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
A lie gets around the world.
Charlemagne of Breakfast Club says nobody cares about the truth when the headlines
The lie is more entertaining.
are more entertaining, right? Yeah.
Entertaining, yes.
That's
Yeah.
sad.
So
That's sad.
it's a very I had a friend reach out to me, so he was like, "Man, James, is that how y'all talk about us when we're not around?" And I said, "Nah, I'm like, yo, bro, that's not how we talk about you, man. That's not." He was like, "Nah, man, Tariq is saying this," and I'm like, "Yo, use your own common sense. We've been friends for a long time.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've been friends. Like, bro, what is wrong with you?
Use your
but
own
Tariq
common
said,
sense.
yeah, it's like me. It's like me being friends with you, Mr. Ola, and then I come around and be like, "Yo, Kenneth said yesterday that you said that I smell like jollof rice," and then next thing you know, we're sitting around arguing with each other. I'm like, Mr. Ola, I've known you for like 35 years.
Yeah, like, come on, some context, right? Okay, you're just gonna forget
Exactly.
everything you know about this guy and just
Yeah.
believe everything that comes in front of you,
Everything.
right?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's read through these comments. Since we're all up in the FBA ADOS, most of
Yes,
these
sir.
comments
Yes, sir.
are from that. So we might as well just dive in through it. So this person says, "Sir, please limit the bubble." No, of course they accuse. Let me just let's see. Okay, this is literally 58 minutes ago. So they've been coming after Oshay Duke Jackson because he tried to appease both sides, and like we're talking about, people don't like when you are speaking from both sides of your mouth.
Both sides, yeah. They want him to pick the FBA's.
I want to pick a goddamn side so we
Pick
can
a
know what the
goddamn
hell you
side
belong.
already.
Right?
Exactly, yeah.
So anybody question Tariq about the museum donation, get cussed the fuck out, and y'all act as if that's okay. Oh, watch that. All right.
Yeah.
So this is a person that's obviously not in favor of Tariq, right?
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about the museum thing?
Mr. Ola, I don't want to sit here and be a front fool. I'm very disappointed in the guy, but he's done very good work for the last couple of years. A lot of us has benefited from, the information that he puts out. Don't get me wrong. He's very charismatic. He's very intelligent. When he announced the museum, I can promise you, Mr. Ola, I was probably the first person to cash app him. I sent him money and I told him, I said, Tariq, this is from me. This is the money I'm donating for the museum. I was very.
A lot of people are calling you a fool, man, for sending that money.
I'm telling you, Mr. Ola. I'm telling you, because now it's like we're looking at him and it's like you don't know what he's trying to. You can't really tell what he's trying to do right now. You can't really tell if he's.
No, honestly, I dug in through all of his stuff.
Yeah,
and I'm just as impressed.
Yeah, he's very brilliant. He's a very brilliant guy. I would never take, because that's the thing, Mr. Ola. We got to be careful. In society, diminishing black male excellence is part of white supremacy. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, diminishing what black men are able to succeed, or when black men do something great, they will find any reason to spit on it and to basically say that this is horrible. So I would never take that away from him. Right now, I'm looking at him and I'm like, man, this guy, he's kind of strange. Like, were we supporting him all these years for him to just turn around and spit in
precisely
our face?
Only just because of the roasting, right?
No, not just the roasting, but it's
what
not
else?
just the.
What else don't you like about what he's doing right now?
I think he's being disingenuous. Some of the things he say it's just lies. I remember one time he said something strange. One time he said, when Malcolm X went into Africa, the African leaders, they didn't want to help him. And I was listening to him like, Tariq, no, that's wrong. That doesn't make any sense. Malcolm X's daughter has a 1-hour interview explaining that the reason her father got killed is because all the African leaders were saying, hey, whatever help that you need, we're going to give it to you. So he mixes up a whole. It's like he purposely does things to make us look bad. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, some of the things that he says, it's like, Tariq, you're going a little too far. And then one of the things lately I've been noticing him is he's talking about, man, this Pan-Africanism thing is one-sided. They don't do anything for us. And I'm like, okay, so what is he talking about? And then he was talking about how he went into Africa, he went into Haiti, And when he was in Tanzania and Zimbabwe, he tried to give some money and set up situations where they can do business in Ghana. And it's like the Africans, we're not trying to give him any attention, and we're not trying to make things easier. And I thought about it first, and I said, there was a Ghanaian lady.
So what I pick out of that, right? You know, because
Yes,
I want
sir.
to move quick through the comments, right? What I
Okay.
pick out of that is that when you talk too fucking much, you start to lie. Okay.
Yeah.
That's if you don't know when to stop. And he runs like his live stream that's quite long, and then when you start to entangle that up with people's emotions, and you start coming at each other, there's no way lies is not gonna fly out. And I'm not giving excuses for him. In fact, I said that in one of the videos, right? Like, if you keep going, the mission, there's such a great mission that you're trying to accomplish, including the reparations and all this kind of stuff, right? He's gonna get entangled up in this negativity, and the whitey will use that against you and say, "See, they don't even know how to unite," right? And that's one of the problems. I'm seeing somebody in my backstage says, "I am white Jesus." I need you to show your face, and then I'll see if I can bring you up. If you show your face first, you can turn your face back off once you come up. All right. So let me go on to. So when you're in my backstage, show your face. If I can bring you up. All right. Good. All right, let's see. So we have. So this person says, the thing is, Black Americans aren't all African. We are a completely different group of people. Even West Africans sent here were sold by other Africans. What are your thoughts about that?
At this point, Mr. Ola, anything.
That's just talking points, right?
At this point, you can't even tell what's going on. I met what's his name the other day. I met an African American guy. We were talking about he works for our communications department in at the UN, and I was talking to him, and he said something funny. He said, "Yo, you know something? I'm starting to think. You know what I think, Jay?" I said, "Yeah. What's going on with you, Jamal?" He was like, "Man, I don't think that I ever lived in Africa. My ancestors were there." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I think that my ancestors, they teleported to America."
What?
I said, "What?"
People are going mad.
Hey, Mr. Ola, Mr. Ola, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just this time is just too much. It's just too much at this point.
Yeah. All right, let me bring up. What's going on? I am white Jesus.
Peace, man. That was a pseudo name that I used, bro, for the Aboriginals when I go on their channel or whatever, bro. So don't mind that, man. I'm Brother Kazembe, man. Pan African, man.
All right, it's very noisy. So maybe when you land, we can bring you back up. It's very noisy.
Yeah,
looks like you're driving.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, bro. We'll see you soon. All right. So let's see. So somebody, let's see here. We have some live people here hanging out.
Yeah,
with
you
us.
got some situations in the live chat. Wadia, Makebi.
Wadia, yeah. Wadia, Makeba. One thing you people don't know about us is we don't listen to what everybody say.
You people.
You people act like we don't know anything. You people make us look at you different by your own actions and words. We heard your loud and clear. All right, thank you. I'm not too sure what that means, but thank you.
I have no idea. Maybe you can come over on a panel and explain yourself. But
yeah. Please make sure clear audio. Thank you, because we're live streaming. Thank you. And when you come on this stage, you waive all your rights to your face and your voice. Okay. I could have sworn that Tariq Nasheed was an entertainer back in the day. So he full of jokes. Y'all don't know. Y'all don't take it too seriously. So seriously, we know you ain't got no cheetah pee on you. Ogologo cheetah pee.
Oh jeez, this cheetah, man. I don't.
Kenneth, you there?
I think he dropped. He dropped
off.
Maybe,
Okay,
hopefully
it looks
comes
like
back.
it's
Yeah.
okay. He's here.
I'm back.
Okay. Yeah. Are you familiar with cheetah pee joke?
The cheetah pea joke.
The cheetah.
So this guy
No, I'm
said,
not familiar with it.
I think he was talking about Ethiopians. Is it Ethiopians? What?
He was talking to a Somali, one Somali
Somalians.
guy. He was
Yeah,
talking to.
one
Yeah,
Somali guy. He said he smelled like cheetah pee.
Cheetah
Actually,
pee.
before I saw the cheetah
What?
pee, the one that was yeah, he said he smelled like cheetah pee. Yeah, he actually said that to a young lady, a Somalian lady, right?
Yeah. There's a young
Right.
Somali lady. She's always
Right.
trolling Tariq. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so she was trolling too. All right, so there's this dude. He said the guys. He said all the cheetahs went extinct, right?
Because
And
they
he said because they ate all the cheetahs. He said you cheetah eater.
You say you.
Oh,
Have they perceived cheetah pee before?
I know. Hey, Mr. Kenneth, I say, hey, you know, let me tell you something, Mr. Ola. The level of ignorance is too high. I remember when I was when I first moved here from Ghana, and I was in middle school or elementary school, and one African American came up to me. He said, "So it must have been very difficult when you were in Africa." I said, "Why?" He said, "You know, running away from all the lions and the tigers all the time."
What the hell?
I said, hey, I the first time, and I told him, I said, listen, Dre, the first time I saw a tiger was at the Brooklyn Zoo. I've never seen a tiger before. I don't know what tigers look like. I've never seen a lion. He said, what do you mean? I thought y'all was just riding on elephants and eating up all the cheetahs over there
Wow.
Wow.
in Africa.
Wow.
The cheetah thing is actually quite normal. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of African Americans used to say that to us, that we used to eat up all.
Really? So that's one of the reasons.
That's
why
where Tariq got it from. That's where Tariq got it from, because when they're amongst each other, they say things like that. When they're amongst each other, they say things like that. You know, when you grow up around them, after a while, they can't tell. You know, if we were standing next to each other, Mr. Ola,
Right.
and I never told you that I was Ghanaian, you would never notice. You know, I can code switch.
I mean,
You know,
yeah.
I
I mean, even from hearing your voice, I you know, I've been around I could probably pick it up after a few sentences. But
After a few,
but I know
yeah.
what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when you spend time around them, they never kind of quite notice that you're not African. So
Right.
when I'm sitting in a room and I could hear them when we were in high school, they would be making certain jokes about Africans, and
Right.
they would be slandering and insulting us. And that's when I noticed that they were quite fond of using cheetah. They would always say cheetahs, like, oh man, I heard them Africans down there, man, boy, I saw in the National Geographic channel. What'd you see, Jamal? Yo, man, they said the white boy was saying that ain't no more cheetahs around. But what happened to the cheetahs? They said Africans, they just ate them. They put them on
Ate
barbecue.
Cheetah eater. Cheetah eater. They ate
Oh,
him.
Mr. Ola. Oh, they said Obasanjo and Sani Abacha, they ate all the cheetahs. We can't
That
find them.
is
No.
mad.
Wow.
It's
That's
All
crazy.
right, watch this, right? So they came for Oshay, man, and Oshay came in and showed me a lot of love in the comment area. I don't know how he stumbled into it, but you know, I also
Oh.
cover manosphere topics, so maybe that's how. But then, like, it was like the second commenter on this video, and then a bunch of people came out of nowhere. And then look, Oshay is capped. He's all over the place with his babu rhetoric. It's too much contradiction, especially when he's trying to play both sides. Just be honest, it wins every. Just be honest, it wins every time. That's a lie, by the way. Just be honest, actually, in a lot of ways, lose all the time. And I'll explain that if you need me to. And yes, the truth offends people. Well, if you're offending people, that's actually the key factor here. If you're offending people, right? It's like people that say, I'm just brutally honest. The brutally part, right? That's what we should put attention on, right? You're brutal, right? And if people come around you and they feel like you're brutalizing them, they're not going to come around you unless they want to offend you, right? Even though you are speaking the truth. And I can't take away from your idea of truth. Whatever you think truth is, you're right. Right? You're right. You have the right to be
you're
right?
Very
But-
true, Mr.
But truth is a function of time. Only time catches truth.
Exactly.
We're all full of shit. Let's be clear, all of us. My idea of truth right now is a function of my experiences, or
Very
my
true.
moral standard, or my moral compass, which is usually bullshit because it's full of my filters and it's full of my lens of life, or my feelings, or whatever my agenda, my personal agenda is, right? So when people say, "Oh, truth offends," like, no, you're offensive. Oh yeah, I'm just a blunt. No, you're just rude. You're just rude.
True.
I know what blunt means.
Yeah.
You want to be rude. You want to eat your cake and have it too, and you want to,
True.
and you have the need to be right, and you want to be right. You know what? You have the right to be right. But when you create results where people don't want to be around you in your personal life, because again, if you're building a platform, you may be negative and build 1 million subscribers. I get that. That works all the time. But when it comes to your personal life, the only thing that actually matters over time, you're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna hurt yourself. You know. So yeah, that's that with that whole truth nonsense. So just be honest wins every time. That's bullshit. No, the people that are winning all the time, unfortunately, up to now is the whitey. Is it because they're honest? No, it's because they have the power, right? That's it. They have the power, and
But
we unfortunately we are feeding off of it right now, right? Yeah, I can hear you. It looks like you're going in and out there. Are you there?
Yeah, Kenneth, your audio is a little bit as Tariq would say, your audio is kind of janky. It's kind of janky, bro. Can you hear us?
Can you hear Kenneth? Kenneth, my guy. You know, it's the Whitey's problem. We don't have proper connection from Nigeria. Kenneth is plugging in from the
Oh,
motherland.
he's in Nigeria. I said
Yeah.
Buhari must be blocking the signal.
These motherfuckers, man, I swear. Let me keep going. So, peace and respect. Following you, brother. Thank you, Information Man Show. I think he saw me on Jen's platform yesterday. We're gonna do some reaction to some Jennifer's videos in a minute here. Oshay is just as bad as Tariq, if not worse. So this person is not on any side. Looks like this person, I could tell, this probably doesn't believe shit. No matter what you say, no matter what you tell them, right?
Yeah.
That guy
Sometimes
Go
I
ahead.
like those people too. Sometimes I do like those type of people.
right. The
You
one
know,
that are
sometimes-
skeptical about everything,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, it's they
You
don't
can't-
trust
You
anybody.
can't tell them nothing.
They don't trust anybody. They don't
It's
trust anybody.
that guy
Therefore-
is in Uganda paying for prostitutes. That's the video I played earlier.
Oh.
Paying for prostitutes and promoting self-trafficking. No, nobody has the proof of that. The video I played.
Nobody
said-
has- no,
The
no.
the video I'll play it in a second here again. That video says nothing about nothing. He's touching
No.
her booty. He's rubbing her booty. So, I didn't see it. Okay, sex traffic to his followers, and you as an African should know about what this guy is in Africa. No, I 100% disagree. There's no proof to accuse him of such things. If you have proof, then you can present that. But this is the proof that somebody posted earlier. This video right here. He's sitting with a girl, and that booty is fire. I mean, we can't cap here, right?
Yeah, she's from Uganda. I mean, I'm
mean-
not surprised.
Like Jesus Christ, like, right? So it doesn't look like he feels like he's doing anything sneaky, you know. So come up with something better, man. You know,
Yeah.
or something better, yeah. But that's what somebody was saying. But it does promote, I guess, a form of divesting, like people that are complaining about black women. Like, why are you complaining about people that
Yeah,
don't want
yeah,
you?
yeah. O'Shea's been very heavy with the he's been very heavy with the passport
The passport movement,
rules.
right?
Yeah,
Right,
passport
right.
movement. Yeah, I was actually I'm not gonna lie. When I was in college, I used to watch his videos all the time, and
Really?
I remember yeah, of course, yeah, because O'Shea been around for a long time. He's been around for I think about maybe like 11 or 12 years now. He was in the beginning. So I used to watch a lot of his stuff when I was in college, and at the time, I never really dated out. I would always say I've always been
You
obsessed
love your
with-
black queens, right?
Exactly. Yeah. When I was younger, yeah, no doubt about it. I know, no doubt, I was much more with the black queens, but I tried. You get influence and you want to try something. So I remember I used to watch his videos a lot. In my first year,
Right.
not my first year, my third year, my junior year when I was at Princeton, I met a girl there, and we're engaged now. She was she had came in from Israel. She came in from Tel Aviv, and we had coffee and we got to know each other. And as time went by, we kind of started dating. So he's very heavy. He's very heavy on the passport guys. He's very heavy.
Yeah. I don't blame him. Like I think people should be open, especially in this you guys. I'm 42, so you guys need to be
Yeah. Well, you're still a young man, if because especially with the way things
Yeah.
are now, a 42-year-old is basically 27.
Yeah, well, I've been married for 15 years, so I'm not in the game. So
Oh, okay. So you're out the
yeah,
game then.
so yeah, I'm out the game. Yeah, right. So, but for those people that are still in the game, definitely to keep an open mind, because
Yeah.
that's just the world we live in.
Your
As
your
long
wife is
as you're
from
not,
your wife
my
is
wife
from
is
Nigeria.
Lagos girl. Yes,
Okay.
yeah, she's Lagos girl. Yeah, as long as you're not self-hating, which is
True.
what they're accusing Oshay of in this comment right now. They're accusing him of self-hating just because it's not. I guess it's speaking from both sides of his mouth. I tend to speak from both sides of my mouth because I can see the good in anything.
But how I don't get that, Mr. Ola. How is he? What does he mean by he's self-hating? What is he self-hating? What does that mean?
Oh,
He's
because he's
self-hating.
speaking against foundational Black Americans.
Foundation. Okay. I
Yeah,
understand. I understand
yeah.
what you're saying. Yeah, because they
So
expect him to back them because he's FBA himself.
he needs to be on code. He
He needs to be on code. Yeah, you're
loyal.
off
Yeah.
code. You're
Yeah.
off code by actually having some common sense and trying to figure some things out. Yeah.
You can't say, hey, you're wrong. You're wrong too.
Yeah,
You're right. You're right too.
You
It
can't
should
say
be like,
that.
no, I'm on this side. Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's American culture. Yeah. What's his name said? There's a song called America. A whole lot of gang shit. That's America right there. Yeah, America's a gang
Wow.
mentality. America's a big giant gang
Wow.
mentality, man. Yeah,
Well,
everybody's in a gang.
I mean, they built a whole empire, American empire from it. So I guess
Yeah.
you just be careful when you bring this down to your personal life. It doesn't work like that. You would destroy yourself. You would destroy your relationships. But I get it. If it's a power move, you know that thing when they say divide and conquer, right?
hmm
It says, "Where's the hidden museum?" This is the person that they cursed out earlier, right? Oh, okay. They said this person will get cursed out. Do you know how long it takes to build a museum? Okay, so this is already getting cursed out. Or since you've never built anything, you have no idea.
Oh, Mr. Ola, this thing is gonna get out of hand. Trust me, Mr. Ola. I'm telling you.
Well, we have other conversations around relationships here, so I will, like for example, in the next few minutes right here, we got some other videos to react to that has nothing to do with this. So we will be controlling that because I have an idea of how negative it can go. The point of the conversation is to shine a light on how African immigrants come to America and disrespect us.
hmm
What do you mean? What's the purpose? Okay, so I asked, what's the purpose of the conversation? I said, if we don't have a purpose, like a common purpose, that's what a common goal, so we can work together. That's what I actually asked for in the first video. Because frankly, what I said is that educate me. I didn't know shit about this, right? I didn't know anything about this. This is just, of course I know about foundational Black American as actual people and not a movement, right? So when I saw the fight it was the day, like this channel was kind of like launched on the day that they had the Twitter space fight some few weeks back. And I covered it. And here we are, right? And we're still talking about it. And the way the algorithms work, I have to kind of cater to it if the conversation is still going on, right? So that's why we're here right now. So he said, what do you mean? What's the purpose? Y'all Black and other immigrants' disdain for us is finally being called out and you hate it. So I don't know. There we have it. I'm not sure. Did you have any thoughts on that?
It's more
Same shit.
buffoonish. It's
Same
more
shit.
buffoonish nonsense.
Another
Yeah,
day.
same nonsense. I was explaining to a friend of mine the other day. I hope we're still friends because trying to explain things to African Americans these days is turning into a roller coaster. This FBA thing has charged them. It's put some sort of a battery in their back, and all of a sudden,
Right.
whatever actually is being presented, they think it's true. And I told him,
Right.
I was like, hey, we've been friends for a long time. At what point have I ever disrespected you or
Right. No,
yeah.
people do the same thing with the manosphere. They listen to Kevin Samuels for too long, or listen
And they
to
start to take everything that he says seriously.
They go back home. They go back to their girlfriend and say, "Hey,
And they say, hey, Kevin
respect
said,
me."
Kevin said,
Like, nigga, you were not being disrespected in the first place.
exactly. Kevin said,
Right? That's what's wrong with y'all women, man. Y'all don't be listening.
Yeah, Kevin said I had a young man. He's part of my church council.
Uh-huh.
I counsel some of the kids at the Catholic Church at St. Peter's, and I was talking to him one time, and he was like, I'm like, hey, Ron, is everything okay? He goes, man, yo, Jay, I was listening to Kevin Samuels the other day, and I noticed something very weird. Why? What you notice, Ron? Man, my mama don't respect me.
Oh
What?
Lord.
I said, what'd you just say? Yo, listen. She talked to me like that again, and I'm gonna smack the taste out of her mouth. I said, nah, Ron, don't do that, man.
Oh
Don't say stuff
Lord.
like that. He said, nah, man, listen, I've been listening to Black Manosphere, Kevin
Mm-hmm.
Samuels. I'm ready for the game
Donovan
now. I feel
Sharp, fresh and fit.
I said, this guy, you just a modern day hustler right now, huh? He said, yeah, man,
Terrible.
I said, these people acting unfortunately, Mr. Ola, this stuff is really digging deep into people.
It
It's
is.
really
It
digging
is. It's
deep.
powerful.
Yeah,
It's powerful.
yeah,
Yeah. It's
very powerful.
powerful.
Yeah, you got some people, a lot of the young man, yo, I was talking to my mom the other day, and everything that Kevin Samuel said is right there. My mom act just like that. So I'm gonna tell her that I'm leaving and I'm gonna be a man now. I'm moving out of the house, and she could go ahead and do whatever she want with her. I said,
Hmm.
what?
You see
Okay.
what people don't.
What?
Go ahead. Are you there?
People doing? Good.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Good. Mr. Ken, I
Yeah,
think you got some feedback.
Yeah, I got some feedback from you.
I'm here.
Yeah, I got some feedback from you.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, no, I was saying what I was saying initially was that if you talking about brutally honest with the truth, if you decide to be passive, most times people ignore it. It just flies over their head. So if you don't hit the nail hard on the head enough, it just flies over their head. They don't hear anything, and they basically won't react. How you know the effect most times of your message is the reaction people have to it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I
most
mean.
times their reaction is negative because of how, in quote, triggering it might be. So
Yeah. Yeah. So the passive versus
So the
active
passive
thing, right?
versus active thing,
You can
right?
mute because I'm hearing
You can mute because I'm hearing
Yeah. Let me mute you.
let me, let me,
No, I'm hearing the feedback from you. Uh. Let's see. Can I mute your guests because they choose to? Oh, you muted yourself. Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. So here's the thing. About the passive thing, right? It obviously depends. It depends on what context we're talking about, right? Um, in a situation where you are talking to a complete stranger, right? Complete stranger, or you're talking to your girlfriend, somebody that you know you get certain type of value from. When I say value, I mean romantically speaking, from a space of romance, right? No matter how much you try to cap about that, romance is a big part of this whole thing, right? So if you know that when it's night time, you're going to open this woman's clothes and you want to try to have sex, how you deliver the truth may matter a little bit, right? So if it's passive, yes, it can go over their head. But I think the truth is really a function of time, always, right? And as a man, consistency. How consistent are you, right? As a man, are you consistent? Are you? Does she trust you, right? If she doesn't trust you, the more you speak a blatant truth, the more she resents you, and it's even going way over her head. And this time, even you're gonna get to a point. It's even more deliberate. She's telling you, "Fuck you and your truth." You know, so you're gonna see this more so
and
in. Go ahead.
you're actually right, and I think this is also why I'm strongly against a lot of these freedoms that are invoked today. In the past, in the 40s, in the 30s, 20s, when generally the women were more concentrated on the home, keeping the home, the nurturing the children. and less about the corporate world. Generally, the men could speak plainly, no matter how brutally honest they might be, because they are men. So they'll have to face reality. They'll have to, talk to men as men are ought to be talked to. So, but the introduction, and when they get back home, they don't speak in that way because they are providing a what, a safe space for their woman. So
Exactly.
even though what they're going to say might be the truth, because it would not make them feel good, they'd rather keep quiet at home. When they
Yeah.
go out to work, go out to the outside world where mostly men are, then they speak how they want to speak, but at home they are reserved. But what happened with liberation, women's liberation, feminism, sexual liberation, and all those things was that the space of the woman
Mm-hmm.
and went out of the house, encroached on the society at large. And right now, we're at the point whereby the men can't even say anything anywhere, not just at home, but anywhere. And because of how emotive women are, how reactive they are towards
Mm-hmm.
those kind of things, they end up in any space you go to. A man says anything that might be triggering or something, they say, "Oh, what you said made me was problematic. It made me feel bad." Those kinds of things where in the past it would only happen in the house where the woman resided, but now the
Mm-hmm.
woman is in the outside world, she's in the corporate world facing life, and because she's a woman, she will still want to
Mm-hmm.
feel safe. No matter how hard that work is, she will still want to feel safe. A
Right.
man can't focus well on his work when he's trying to still be careful and work on the edges in order not to hurt the feelings of a woman. You can't do both at the same time. That's why
I
they
mean, I
usually
mean,
separated.
I'll tell you like this, right? If it's the truth is that I wasn't here anything past 42 years into the past. Okay, I wasn't here, but I'm willing to bet if there's a way to prove it that the generation of our parents, my father turns 70 next year, right? Their generation also experienced a change in dynamics of things, and they also probably bitched about it too. Like, how come these ones are like this? Like every generation, you could start from simple things as simple as fashion, right? We don't dress like that. Why you guys dress like that? See, my generation, they told us when we were growing up, why are you sagging, right? And their generation, their parents probably told them something different. So the analogy I'm giving there comes down to when we're dealing with women, right? The language you used is that why do we have to tiptoe and we have to be careful? I am willing to bet that it's always been that way, that you have to be careful. We call it wisdom. We call it being wise. We call it is deeper than just your IQ, right? It's deeper than what you see on the surface, right? And no, it is not easy. It is not fair. It's not any one of those things that we tend to cry about, right? Uh, that's the requirement of a man among human society in any given society, in any given generation. There's this need. There's always something changing that you have to kind of keep up with, right? So what we find
Yeah,
is that women don't have to go out. I mean, they don't have to depend on you for finances. They don't, and that has thrown some kind of stone into the pond, right? And there's a ripple effect, and that ripple effect is going to burn some people. There's going to be casualties, right? But for the ones that are wise, they're able to say, "Oh, all right, there's a change going on. There's something going on. That's different." Women innately are still going to be women. They still want to submit. They may not be able to submit under the circumstances of you just saying, "It's my words and that's just my words," right? That's probably not going to fly, right? It's probably going to more so be in the direction of you attract it, right? The way you move, you're consistent, you're a man. You bring that emotional safe space, not just safety from a standpoint of bodyguard, protecting physically, right? Because they don't need that anymore. They can pay for their own bodyguard, right? But we're talking about women. I'm telling you right now for a fact, women still need emotional safe space, right? And they're not gonna get that at that job, so they go become what do you call it? a vice president, a president, professional president somewhere, right? They're not gonna find that kind of safe space over there. As a matter of fact, they have to put on their masculine because it's a man's world still in that zone, right? And when they come home, the last thing they want to come to is a person who is saying, I'm the man too, right? They have to deal with that at work, right? Now, how can you be the man without having to say, I'm the man? That's really the real question that needs to be answered by you. How do you be the man without having to say, I'm the man? How do you attract submission, respect, and trust from your lady without having to say it? If that sounds unfair, I know. She should just submit. Speaking of just submit, let me play a clip here. I'm going to play a clip here, right? Because a lot of time, there are a lot of women and ladies actually in the manosphere right now that are taking on this flag of checking other ladies and holding them accountable. I applaud it. I think women can help in this situation. I think a man depending on a woman to help is going to backfire really badly, right? However, I think there's nothing wrong with women trying to help and holding themselves accountable. I don't think anything is wrong with that. But as a man, if you're having a hard-on because you see a woman checking a woman, you have another problem coming for you because you're setting yourself up for failure. Let me play this clip right now. I think, let's see. I'm going to find her name and I will label her properly. I don't remember her name. Okay, actually, I found her name right now. Her name is Dinika Marie. Dope Discussions. So I found this clip. Let me play.
Feels like if a woman tries to run up on a man, he has every right to defend himself and protect himself. And it's like, oh no, but she's still a woman. And he should know that she's a woman and she has emotions and she can act irrationally and it could cause her to, react in a particular manner and it could just, he should understand that, if she punches him, it's not really her fault because she's a woman and we can't control our little selves. That's crap. He should know that he's the man and he's stronger than her.
Just in case you didn't get it.
Even if she's the one that punched him first and hurt him first, it doesn't matter. He's still stronger than her, and he should know that. No, I don't care if he does know that. She should know to keep her damn hands to herself.
All right, good.
If you are
so she's talking about the fresh and fit situation with the Sotomayor and the fight that went down. That's what she's talking about, right? So I'm gonna play this one again, and I want to hear you guys' thoughts after that.
Allowing yourself to become irritated or provoked or anything like that, or you're just mad and frustrated, like just go somewhere, calm down. Go journal or something. Go talk to your damn self. Go take a bubble bath.
So she's telling the ladies to, like, if you're upset and you feel the need to throw your hands at a man, go somewhere and calm down, right?
Go take a shower or something. You know what I mean? But don't ever get to a point, especially as a woman, to where you want to go and try to put your hands on a man. Like, you just don't do that.
All right, so let me play I think there's a third one. And I'm going to get your thoughts on this. Danica. All right, get this one right here.
If you are finding yourself to become irritated or provoked or anything like that, or you're just mad and frustrated, like just go somewhere, calm down. Go journal or something.
That looks like the same
go
one,
talk
right?
to your damn self. Go take a bubble bath. Go take a shower or something. You know what I mean? But don't ever get to a point, especially as a woman, to where you want to go and try to put your hands on a man. Like, you just don't do that.
All right, so let's watch this one right here. So you can see this one. She's reading a comment. The comment's about to come on the screen.
Rena says,
so the comment says, let's see.
Gently
Okay, there you go.
disagree with my man works great. Never losing respect for him. The man will hear you out better. Yes. And see, that's why it's so beautiful.
Now, here's what she said. This is a woman saying this, right? Gently disagree with my man, works great. And I agree with that. And I always tell women, like, listen, you have the mumu button, use it. Let's not be stupid, right? Especially in this time and age where men are becoming, they're connecting more with their feminine energy. That's what you see when men are arguing actively with women. That's the feminine energy. When a man is saying,
Yeah,
nah, we gotta hold this woman accountable, that's feminine energy. It
yeah,
doesn't matter
that's
what
feminine.
context.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter what context. I don't care if you're Kevin Samuels. I don't care if you're. That's feminine energy, because the masculine energy don't give a shit about that. He takes it all on and brings the structure, the safety, and the security. And even when there's challenge, he loves it. He engages it. It's another. It's like a kick. He's like, another opportunity for me to bring some structure, right? As opposed to no, we need to hold them accountable. Let's play fair. This needs to be fair, right? That's feminine energy, you know?
yep.
So, hi, Awa. How you doing, Awa? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, so now there's a woman here advising, quote-unquote, women, but I guarantee you, majority of the people following her channel, Dinika's channel, are men. If I go into our analytics right now and I go look at her analytics, she probably has at least 60% men, because they are having a hard on because they are seeing a woman holding
A
a woman
woman
accountable.
putting a woman accountable. Yeah, that's how the what's his name goes. That's how the game goes. The game is if
They
if you
would, they
look
would
at
call her a
most.
pick me.
Pick me, yes. You'll see most of the channels. There's another channel. I forget what her name is. Is a Jamaican lady. She's very good.
Yeah, I know
And
her. I forgot her name too.
yeah,
Yeah.
I forget her name too. And she talks
It's
about
mostly men
I think
following
I
her.
remember. I think I know what you're talking about.
yeah,
Yeah. I think I know what
yeah. I
you're
forget her
talking
name, but
about.
she does very good work too. And when you go on her channel, you would think you were on a female channel because it's like you would think you were on a male channel because it's a bunch of men
It's just
in the
men.
room sitting around listening and talking to her, and I'm like,
Yep.
you guys are really interested in this nonsense.
Yep.
It's yeah,
It's
I
just,
don't need to
it's just
listen.
men. I couldn't sit
Yeah,
too long to watch the ladies. Nothing against the ladies. I just feel like a man.
I can't listen to the watch. I don't. What man sits around listening to women talk? That's just. I don't know.
That
Maybe it's
that
because we're
tells that
That
tells us a lot more
that's
than we
out
need to
of order.
know. That's out
very.
of order.
That's out of order.
Mr. Kenneth, that's very out of order. That I mean, imagine back in the day if we're all sitting in the living room in Lagos or Abuja, and you walk in the house and the men are sitting there watching Oprah. Just
What's it?
imagine what type of
Exactly right.
it's just crazy.
Abomination.
That's abomination.
They will ask you. Yep.
That's abomination right there. That's that. I'll pick up the phone and I'll make a quick phone call to Obasanjo to report you. That's a quick. That's a bad situation.
Gentlemen, I couldn't have said that any better. You
Yes,
guys
sir.
helped me bring what I was trying to say to light, right? Help me bring it to light. And you know, when you see them, I'm like, oh my God, these niggas are having a hard on because the woman is checking a woman. It's not going to work out for you in your personal life. Like, she's checking women, they're talking to each other, it's good for them. On a personal level, there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with women holding women accountable, right? But the idea of a bunch of men having a hard on, following the woman, and they're so happy about holding women accountable. The problem with that is that you're going to take that expectation back to your personal life.
Exactly, and it's not gonna work.
It's not going to work.
It's not
going
gonna
to
work
fail
now
you.
because that situation itself, that's the women bickering amongst each other.
Exactly.
But yeah, exactly. But once you walk in
And
and you
and you know
see another, go ahead, Mr. Kenneth.
it's going to be different. And the funny thing I've noticed is that I've seen this personally is that despite whatever the woman calling other women out, despite whatever she's saying there that might give the men hard-ons, she's still a woman. She'll still be doing probably everything that she's talking
Exactly.
against with her man.
Yes.
So it doesn't make sense to listen to her and try to take advice. She's just talking to her fellow women, and she's still a woman like them.
If
She'd still do.
anything, she's
It's like
talking to herself.
exactly. It's like a woman on Twitter. she was talking about how men don't express their emotions. That is so cute seeing men cry and talk to her. Then somebody screenshot a previous tweet where she was saying that she was holding herself from laughing when a guy was
Was
shedding tears
bitching.
and telling her about his
Exactly.
problems. Yeah. So
100%. Yeah.
that's how they are. You can't take
You
them
can't
for their
you
word.
cannot
They are
take
still
them for
women.
anything. Yeah. Mr. Kenneth, it's even worse. It's even worse. I don't mention other YouTubers on other platforms, but you're seeing a whole bunch of different women
Hmm.
who are pretending that they are keeping other women accountable.
Yeah, yeah,
Could you
exactly.
believe? Yeah, could you believe this? This will shock you, Mr. Kenneth. It will shock you. Could you believe that some of these women that have these platforms, like the screen we're looking at right now,
Hmm.
they have sessions and private coaching for men where
Oh
they
my
tutor
God.
men. Exactly. They charge men
Wow.
to
Wow.
talk to men behind
Wow.
the scenes. How can a
Wow.
woman be the one to basically get you right as a man? That makes no
Oh my
sense at
God.
all. When I first found this out, they do consultations, they do counseling. So you
And they
have
pay
now, if
money
you
for oh
Mr. Kenneth, Mr. Kenneth, right now in the United States, there are women just like this. These pick me characters or so-called pick me or whatever they are, they have counseling sessions where men pay them so they can talk to them, and they are so-called counseling the men. A woman counseling a man. Just yeah, the game is just completely backwards at this point. It's
Terrible.
just completely
and
terrible,
Terrible.
this is
completely
this
backwards.
is this further emasculates men. These men that are doing
Further,
this thing. It
yeah,
just further because men are already there are a lot of things that are fighting against men, emasculating them. Apart from the social media, apart from the
Hmm.
dating, this relationship, and that issue is all these relationship and dating female coaches that aren't
Hmm.
supposed to be. Then you're not talking about also the food that even affects the testosterone levels of men
yes,
generally. Between 1980 and now, the testosterone levels have reduced by over more than 50%. So
yes.
all these things combined, and now because they're having a hard on by seeing a woman calling other women out, and they think, oh, that means they don't even know their place as a man.
True.
That's just
Yeah.
what it
See,
shows.
no disrespect to these ladies. I think they should continue what they're doing. They're doing a great job. But let me just talk to the idea of a pick me in general, right? Pick me's are dangerous for young men, precisely from this standpoint. Okay, a pick me is not a person who says, "I see where a man is coming from." That's not what a pick me is. A pick me is a person who thinks it's a quick way to get attention of men by just pandering to their rhetorics,
True.
to their talking points, right? They memorize all of the talking points in the manosphere, and they start spitting it. And the problem with that is not just a problem with women; it's a problem with all of us, right? We don't know what we're going to do until we find ourselves in certain situations. We don't know what we're going to do until we find ourselves in a position of insecurity. We're all going to go through that, right? Where you're having a conversation with your lady, or you're having a conversation with a man, and you feel like your insecurity has been tampered with, right? You feel like somebody doesn't make you feel safe from an emotional standpoint. What that looks like for men is when it starts from when you feel like you're not being respected, right? Because a man craves respect, right? He craves to feel like the hero in that situation, right? And the moment he starts to feel less than, it will show up in all kind of different ways. He'll be cranky. He'll be, he shows up in all kind of ways, right? So when you as a lady, you're presented with a cranky man who doesn't know how to be the rock in the situation, who is actively competing with you, who say, "But you did this too," right? When you're presented with that and you find yourself in that romantic relationship, can you handle that? Because all the manosphere talking points will go out the window at that point in time. What you'll be left with is yourself and your ability to handle that chaos that you're being presented with. The same thing for a man, right? When a woman is always going to be a woman, when she's a woman in a romantic relationship with you, sometimes she feels like she should cry for no damn reason. For no reason. So you're going to be like, well, I guess that's your feeling. You see what Fresh and Fit did earlier, right? Fuck your feelings. Can you handle a man like that? You see, it's easy. I know for a fact that a typical woman is attracted to a masculine man. I know that for a fact. But at what point does a masculine man cross over to fuck your feelings? You know, these are some of the things that I want young men to pay attention to. I see a lot of people running around with the rhetorics. Yeah, find you a pick me. I was like, nah, bro, that's not what you need. That's not what you need. You need a woman. You need a woman who is very much aligned with her femininity, right? Her femininity. I have nose problems right now. Okay. That's what you need. A person who can rest in her femininity, who is very comfortable relaxing around you. That's what you're looking for. Not a person that's agreeing to every manosphere talking point you're talking about. In fact, you want a woman who is completely disconnected from that world.
Exactly.
If she's actively,
because
sorry, Kenneth. If she actively knows every manosphere talking point out there, that is masculine energy, precisely.
Yep.
No one else is gonna say this. I'm sorry. No one else in this world is gonna say this. Everyone is, oh yeah, not femininity, because she's repeating your talking point. That's not femininity, bro. Femininity is an energy. Remember, it's an energy. It's not what people say. Just like the masculine energy, it's an energy. It's not what you say. It's not what you call yourself. You know, it's about when you are presented with a feminine woman, are you even able to recognize it? Because, and that's the problem. That's why you see them in those chats. There's nothing wrong. Again, I want those ladies, especially Dinika, since I'm using her face right now. Let me remove it. Right? I want them to build their platform. Right? I really want them to build their platform and make their money from sucker kids out there who don't get this. Right? I want them to win. Right? But if you're here listening to me, you're a man of prestige. I want you to pay attention to the energy. Pay attention to people's actions. Not what they say. What they say is bullshit. All of us. Everything I say right now is bullshit until you can process it. And you can process it, you know? Like, internalize it. A lot of people read, what do you call it? Sorry, Kenneth, I cut you off over there. Go ahead and speak, Kenneth. You were going to say something?
Okay. Yeah, I was yeah, guy. I was going to say, the the femininity of a woman most times is dependent on how masculine the man is. The more masculine he is, the more feminine should be. The less masculine he is, the less feminine should be. At a point, they meet in the middle, and that's where this confusion of identity then comes in.
Right.
So yeah, so that's one of the reasons, and I agree with you about the manosphere. And that is why, for example, in my Twitter account, I think if I had thought about it earlier, I would have made a separate Twitter account for this manosphere talk, because there are a lot of women that are following me on my account, and I tweet all those things as it is, and I don't want to be in a position whereby I will know one personally who is following me on Twitter, because whatever kind of polarity or male masculine feminine energy would get, there would be a form of distortion because of the knowledge she's getting, which she isn't supposed to have like that. Whereas that knowledge is for men, not for women. And it's
Right.
for men in order to help men and to help women and to help the family at large. But when women start getting that knowledge, because of how humans are generally, they start tweaking to try to just tweaking around that knowledge, not because that is who they are, but just to be able to, to conform, to fit in, and to get that attention. So that is why you don't say these things. A lot of this manosphere talk. The reason why there's a lot of distortion now. There are some guys now that and these women are coming up is because it's all open. It's open to everyone. This is something that in the past, this manosphere talk is what in the past a father would tell to his son.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah,
It's not.
but right
It's not
now,
exactly new. They act like it's all
yeah,
new.
it's not new. It's not easy because fathers, even fathers today, most of them they've lost. They don't know. They don't know their place. They don't know what they are supposed to be telling their sons. They don't talk to their sons about female nature. They don't talk to their sons about their experiences with their wives. They don't talk to their sons. And over time, these sons, you hear comments if you go under this man's tweets, for example, this man's videos, Rolo Tomasi or Kevin Samuel. You hear things like, "You are the father I did not have." You hear it, you see it a lot, you see comments like that a lot. So these are things that fathers are supposed to tell sons with only their sons, not in the presence of the mother or the sisters. But because these women are being exposed to this knowledge, it is going to mess up things. And men who are ignorant will start subscribing and watching these women and thinking that they are doing themselves good.
Yeah, it just get worse. Because at the end of the day, we're humans. We have we're social beings. We're emotional beings, and we carry the energy that we soak in. And again, there's nothing wrong if you're getting entertained by these ladies and all this kind of stuff. I just want you to be aware that it's not going to help you in your personal life. Just be aware that a pick me is not a pick me in the very sense of it, meaning somebody who is pandering to your emotions. It's not exactly what you're looking for. You're looking for somebody who are just in their feminine energy, which means it's just is. They enjoy being that, because when they are exactly what they're supposed to be, whatever you bring them, they'll multiply, right? But if they're the one that's bringing in all this structure and safety, and you're supposed to bring in the masculine energy, they're busy spending most of their energy on being right, as opposed to just being. Life is so beautiful when you understand the idea of just be, right? Always be, do, right? We do too, right? But at some point, we enjoy life because we've done so much and we just want to be. You want to relax in front of your TV and enjoy time with your lady without watching fucking Kevin Samuels, man. God damn it.
Exactly.
The fuck? Right? And I see people think this is a good thing. No, it's not a good thing.
Some men even discuss it with their women. Red pill. They discuss it with their women. Oh God.
Listen, I learned that so quickly. Like myself right now, I'm like, I keep my wife, our energy is intact. I'll leave her alone. Once you say one or two sentences, of course you see my YouTube sometimes and she see my own page, right? Because I'm consuming this content so I can teach it, right? And she sees that, like, oh, that one, and she's like, oh, and then she laughs, and then the next minute she's over it. We're not talking about that anymore. We're over it, right? But some people, it looks like this is just all they're soaking in their house. Like when I see the long streams, right? The long live streams, I'm like, there's no way you could be there's nothing good that can come out of this, right? Oh yeah, this is just YouTube. I don't do this in my personal life. Bullshit, cap. That's cap. That's cap all day long. I was looking for my cap. That's cap all day long, right? Let me play this. I'm gonna play this clip. This a few clips. I was on the block with Jen. Jen is Jen, and I was hanging out with Jen and Tawana. Tawana was here with us earlier, and I wanna hear you gentlemen's thoughts on this, right? So I was on there. I'm gonna play a few clips for you. Okay, about 2 clips actually, only 2 clips. I was on there. There was a gentleman there were 2 of them that actually were supposed to show up here today, but you know how that goes. I wish they did so we can address these issues more. But
the results of those behavior.
All right, so I'm gonna play this clip for you, and I want to hear your thoughts after it. Okay.
Right now, even amongst the gurus, the biggest of them. And I will keep my foot on everyone's neck. And no, it's not my responsibility to do for the ladies. I will be here all day long pandering to women. If that makes you pissed off, that's it. That's where the growth lies. That's where we're going to find growth. Okay? So, gentlemen, we will figure this out. Yeah.
I want to ask him a question, but I want to say this because a lot of people in the chat are saying stuff like, when there is 3 feminine women, we're going to attract like high quality men. I'm sorry, we just are. It's just
Yeah.
the truth. And so
Do you guys see me blushing? I'm blushing a little bit.
you guys see that there are men who are balanced, who are actually are good, like, well, I don't want to qualify people yet because you gotta do more than just see them pander, talk on the internet.
Exactly,
you really do
right?
in order to really qualify people. But what I'm saying is that you're going to attract certain men when you have certain energy. It's just the truth.
Yes.
And so you see that in real life, right? We're going to attract losers as well, but you see how we eliminate the losers real quick.
They don't stay. Yeah.
They don't stay. Like, they can't
Yeah.
handle the conversation because we're going to question them in a way that they won't be able to handle the heat. It is what it is. The men who remain are the men who remain, right?
Yeah. Just like
it
a lot of men can get their money up and attract a lot of ladies, but they have a problem retaining long-term relationships. And I'm talking to those that actually want it, because it's very easy to say, we don't want the long-term anyway. It's bullshit. You want long-term. You are a simp, original simp. And that's why you're bitching about it. And it's okay. We will figure this out, like I said.
I wanted to ask you, because you talk about polarity a lot on your channel. And I don't know if we got enough time for you to just talk about it, because I think people miss that, right? Like that natural difference between men and women. And like a lot of the manosphere points are really degrading women for our natural abilities and things that we do, like our emotions, that's like like things that's natural about women. They criticize and say bad things and make us feel bad about it, which I think is interesting. I mean, I would love to just hear your perspective on that a little bit. I know it's, we don't have a lot
I'll be
of
very
time,
quick, but because I want us to continue what we call boast gas in Nigeria, right? I want us to continue that, right? But the truth is that, the masculine and the feminine energy is undefeated. The polarization that's created out of that is undefeated. And just look at results. Like you and I can argue all day long right now. At the end of the day, I have to look at the result of what I created, right? And the truth is that the masculine energy is supposed to bring security, safety, and structure into the situation. And when it fails to do so, the feminine energy is a beautiful, chaotic energy. It is what it is. It's like the ocean, right? And it's your responsibility to learn how to navigate around that. And when you learn how to navigate that, it's beautiful. You find out it's beautiful. But if you lack patience to be able to navigate that, you create chaos. And we create the bad version of chaos. And it's undefeated. We can look at it. Like for me right now, as a rule, I don't argue with feminine energy. I don't care if it's coming from a man or a woman. If I feel it as feminine energy, I can't argue with it, because I will create the type of chaos that I don't want. You know what I'm saying? Now, chaos is not a bad thing necessarily. There's a type of chaos that I want. We call it variety in life, right? We like to, spontaneity. We don't want structure all the time. That's part of human nature. We want certainty, but we also want some varieties. We don't want it to be so predictable all the time. That's what creates attraction. So a lot of time we don't like to talk about these things, but we're talking about attraction and desire. That's what we're talking about. Stop capping. That's what you're talking about. If you're not wanted for a real reason. It's not because you haven't committed a crime. It's not an indictment. It is what it is. You have to look at the result and see, how am I creating what I created? That's part of accountability that the other gentleman spoke to a lot earlier. That's part of accountability. But if you're just busy pointing fingers, the 4 fingers are pointing at you effectively, and you're not paying attention to that. So I just look at results, and then I look at myself in the mirror and I say, okay, this is how I created that. And then, the manosphere will turn around and say, oh yeah, it's got to be the man's fault. Yeah, motherfucker, yes, it is. And by the way, I wasn't talking about fault. I was just talking about the results you created, right? And how can you make it better?
So let's have a super chat break.
All right.
Ill Doctrine's making me read it.
So I want to hear you guys' thoughts on that. Kenneth, you want to go first? What are your thoughts on what you...
Okay, I agree with you on that statement. And the feminine energy is chaotic, but chaos itself is not bad or good. But when brought into the context of relationships, and I think this is also an issue in present times, where men become very feminine. You notice that the more feminine they become in that relationship, they are putting on the woman the burden of becoming masculine.
Yes,
And
exactly.
this is part of what also breaks up relationships, because once you burden that woman, she's not designed to carry that masculine weight. So once you burden that woman with being the strong one, with being the calm one, with being the stoic one, once you burden her with that, over time she resents that man. She
Yep.
loses attraction, because polarities attract, north and south pole attract, negative and
Yep.
positive, they attract. So once she's supposed to be feminine, but she starts becoming masculine, she starts resenting that man because he's abandoning his masculine role. She's the one who's supposed to be crying. She's the one who's supposed to be ranting. She's the one who's supposed to be crying. The man is the one who is supposed to be calm. He's the one who's supposed
Calm,
to be
cool,
calculated. He's
collected.
the one who's supposed to say, "Don't worry, go like this, don't go like that," and she will trust in his calmness. Sometimes a woman doesn't necessarily trust in what the man says, whether he's actually right or wrong. She trusts in his demeanor, in his calmness, in
Yes.
his sense. When she sees that he looks in control, then she follows what he's saying. But when it's a man that is bickering like a woman too, she won't respect that man because he's behaving just like her. And then
Yeah.
she'll start looking outside that relationship for a man that would carry that weight of masculinity so that she can
Right.
rest in her femininity.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. And to bring it back in full circle to what you said earlier on, and then she would turn around and say the spark is no longer there because
Exactly.
she
That's
wasn't
also part
supposed
of
to.
it.
She would use all kind of vague languages because
She
she's
can't
not
explain
supposed.
it. That's
She
it.
can't
She
explain
can't
it.
explain it.
Yeah.
Yes.
She can't
A
explain it
lot of things.
exactly.
There are a lot of things that they can't explain. That you even hear when they're talking, like they'll stutter. I just can't explain it. But I didn't feel in touch with him. I couldn't feel him again. He was so sweet. He was so kind. But we just couldn't click again. Most times when
Yep.
they're talking about him being sweet and so kind, is they're basically saying he was so womanly.
Right.
He wasn't.
Right.
He was harmless. He was very womanly, but it's not like he abused me or anything, but he was so womanly, so I lost the attraction to him. There was no more polarity in the
Right.
relationship.
Right. Right. So real, man. So real. Yep. That's the truth, man. That's the truth. Let me play this second. Are you there, J Bones? Are you there? Did you hear that clip? I'm not sure if you heard it.
Yeah, I'm here. I was just making sure I was quiet. Just
Right.
everybody get there.
Did you hear
I
that clip?
mean,
What was your take?
the truth about it is that you pay attention to their energy on a panel, right? And it's about you bringing a constructive idea or basically more of a clarity, but it's about the atmosphere right now. And much respect to what Kenneth was saying, it's true. But Mr. Ola, you got to look at the energy right now. You got to look at the energy and the atmosphere right now. I think
Right.
that even with strong men and bringing in, pay attention to what Kenneth just said. The game plan should be that the women should look at us and they notice that we're in control. If there's a fire across the street, they know
Right.
that we're gonna be the ones to run into the building, grab the bucket, put it out, pick up all the old ladies, save the day, save the kittens, save the dog, and that's just basically the way we operate. But right now, with this atmosphere, Mr. Ola, the
Right.
truth about it is that it doesn't matter if you're Superman.
Right.
The poison has been deep rooted into the culture. So even if you are as a 100% the best of the best, and you're the strong arm, and you're basically the Superman or the Batman or the best image that you can be as a man, they still won't follow. I highly doubt that they'll follow because there's no.
Can you have examples?
Yeah, you don't need examples. You just basically look at them. Look at the way they're behaving now. The majority of them, yeah, they're I'll give you. I'll
You're
give
gonna
you
have to give
something
me
very.
examples because the people around me, they don't. Maybe I see them on Instagram, yes,
Yeah.
but the people around me, they don't behave in unruly ways. If that's what you're
Well,
alluding to.
the people, I would say the people around you. Well, you are a different. You are a different side of the generation. You're 42, right?
Yeah, I'm 42, but I got younger ones. I got younger ones all the way down to age 18, and everything in
Okay,
between.
and they're not.
It's
They're not acting
culture.
like that. They're not acting like that. That's what you're saying, right, Mr. Olaf?
Yeah, there's a certain way they move, and there is some dynamics change, but I don't see anything out of the ordinary. That
Okay.
is because the way you put it, is said is deeply rooted, right? Yes, if you like a typical 24-year-old girl right now, right? If you if you say fuck your feelings, she'll tell you fuck your feelings too. Is that
True.
what we're talking about?
100%. I mean,
Okay.
I'll give you an example. I
Well, my
counsel.
my 40-year-old wife will tell you fuck your feelings too. By the way.
If she's from Lagos, then definitely I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But but what do you call it? I'll give you an example. I counsel some of the kids in the Catholic Church, and they're in college, and I can tell you 100%. You can't tell them anything. You can't tell them any. People used to say when we were growing up we were hard headed, but I've never. This, trust me, we weren't that bad. Right now, when you look at uh right now when you look at basically the level of craziness that's going on, and it's just wild. I'm sorry, Miss Ola. It's just wild.
So now with that being said, because what happens is that I have friends that would tell me, friends that are like 38, 38, 39, single, and they're like, Ola, you don't understand what's going on. Like it's like you wouldn't understand. And then I tell them, give me an example. And then I happen to
Are
understand.
these in Nigeria? Are they in Nigeria or in the US there?
Both.
Okay.
You know, and then when they tell me the exact scenario, I happen to understand. What this comes down to is that the women that God has blessed you with, they are still women. And there is a context that's quite different. The context is a little bit shifted, right? But you're still a man. You're supposed to be shifting as well too. So that's what I want to hear. Like, what are the examples we're talking about? Are we talking about a Tommy Sotomayor versus Chay Means? Because that's not a typical situation. That's a chick that's chasing after clout. Tommy Sotomayor is a clout chaser himself.
Cloud chasing.
That is not a normal
Yeah.
situation. I need
Yeah.
I need you to tell me that you went on a date and you went on a date to ask a girl, what do you bring to the table? And I'll tell you, you attracted exactly what you deserved. I need examples. You know?
I mean, that's the Tommy Sotomayor situation with the girl.
Uh-huh.
That's been around for a long time. That's not something. It just happens to be called. That's like police brutality, but you're just finally looking at it on camera.
So
You understand
the
what I'm saying?
idea that you see that altercation, right? The
Yeah.
idea that if the police showed up, there's a highly likelihood that it's Tommy Sotomayor that will go to jail, right? Even
True.
if all he was doing was restraining her. That idea
Defending
is
himself, yeah.
not it's nothing new with that idea. Why do we keep saying like there's something new about that? That's the society that we live in. You lose a lot more if you engage a woman at that level of interaction. It's just like Dangote arguing with me about bullshit, right?
Yeah.
He stands to lose a lot more just by sitting there to hang out with me. He's losing money by every second, right? It's the same thing. Why are you arguing with a woman at all? If you're
Exactly.
arguing with a woman at all, you deserve all the masculine energy she brings you.
True.
Now, a woman
Exactly.
typically they don't. If you're not engaged with them at that level, they are not mad. They are very smart, but they can be as stupid as you want them to be. Remember, wherever you bring them, they multiply. Especially more so now than ever because they have the freedom, right?
True.
They have that freedom. So let's address some feminine energy really quickly here. We have Rambert. Rambert says FBA has no friends. Right? Rambert is bitching.
Yes.
That's feminine energy.
Yes.
I gave him some attention, left it alone. Next, what the diaspora don't understand, you are all observers of FBA culture. Rambert needs to be right. I give him the right to be right. Boom.
True.
Next one. Criticism from the diaspora, FBA just don't care. How many times have you heard people that actually care say, I don't care. I don't care.
But
I don't care.
you're still here talking about it.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I showed up to remind you that I don't care. Uh-huh.
Right?
But you're here.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah?
care so much that I showed up to let you know that I don't care.
Do you know how many times Tommy Sotomayor said, I don't care in that engagement with that young lady?
True.
I was confused. Who's the woman? I was confused,
Yeah.
right? We don't want
I'll
to
give,
unite. It's
I'll
been
give an
400
example.
years. Right? No, let me finish giving him attention. Let me
Okay.
finish giving him attention. Yeah.
It's actually 600 years, but who's counted? It's been 600
Hey,
years.
hey, let him be right. Give him the right to be right. Okay. See, there are women approaching there are men approaching their relationship with the goal to be right. And
Yes.
they get like Kanye West, you're right, but you lose your family. You're right,
That's
but you don't want to
feminine.
fuck with you no more.
Very true, Mr. Ola.
Right? FBA forever. Absolutely. This you're not saying nothing but the truth. You ain't saying
The
nothing
truth.
but the truth.
Exactly.
Right?
I'll,
Hey,
I'll give an example.
go ahead, Kenneth.
I'll give an example.
Uh-huh.
You know, I believe Mr. Ola, I believe is a witness to this. A lot of times on Clubhouse, there's a particular club where guys generally feel a little bit freer to
Mhm.
talk or speak plainly, and certain occasions whereby because they allow females to come on stage to talk to, on certain occasions whereby I might have said something that triggered a woman, and they come up to talk and they speak directly at me. I never for once unmute my mic to go into a
To
back and
respond.
forth with them, to
Yeah.
respond and to shout, I don't care. Even you too. You see, you need to hold women accountable. These women are you. But why are you even talking to me like that? Speak to the topic. Speak to the topic. Facts over feelings.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. But a lot of guys are doing that, and you notice that once they do it, they inflame everything. She's already in the position whereby she's going to be inflamed at any
She's
reaction you
gonna be
give to her.
triggered.
At that
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, at that point, you're just supposed to mute your mic. It doesn't. If you mute your mic, doesn't mean you're a pussy. It doesn't mean you're weak. It just means
Yeah. To them, that means you're
maintaining
beta.
order.
To,
Yeah,
yeah. To
so
them, that means you're
that
beta.
you notice it a lot, even in Twitter spaces. Look at the way, personally, the way Tariq, I didn't spend up to 5 minutes in that Twitter space that day I went there. I left because first of all, I found what he was saying funny, and he was sounding very feminine to me, and so I
Right.
left. And you see these things a lot, not only on social media but even in real life, and that is why you see today a lot of domestic violence by women, because when you inflame them, they're already in a tensed up position, shouting,
Yeah.
and a lot of times when they're in that position whereby they are shouting and cussing out, is a kind of subconscious cry for stability, that you should come in and bring stability. But when you decide to behave just like her,
prejudice that I've received.
chaos plus chaos equals
Mhm.
you know chaos times chaos squared. So you just inflame everything up, and she would be the first one to then react and maybe pick up a knife.
Mhm.
And that is what is happening everywhere. The men become more feminine, and they inflame the women, and the women react. So at the end of the day, like I said before, the femininity of the woman depends on the masculinity of the man. If the man
Yeah.
keeps on behaving more feminine, he's just going to distort things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see if we can finally hear from I am White Jesus. I
Peace.
am
White Jesus is back in the building.
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
What's going on, man? I know I probably came a little bit late.
It's
'Cause I
okay,
was trying,
man.
yeah, I was trying to tap into that Tariq Nasheed and the talk you guys had about with Tariq Nasheed and
Right.
versus brother Oshay Jackson, man. Oshay Jackson is a good brother, man. He actually reached out to me years back on an email. But he
Okay.
started, he was bashing the women. He was talking to these goddamn bitches. Excuse me.
Right.
I don't know if I can curse, but
That's okay. You're good. You're good.
but he's funny dude. But he reaches out, man. O'Shea, that's one thing. The brother Pan African Strikes Back. He was talking about O'Shea reaches out and he kicks it with people, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, he does. He does. He does. And that's why he's loved in the streets, for the most part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
very true.
He,
Mr. Ola.
yeah,
Yeah, I was wondering if you mind if I can ask the brother I'm White Jesus a question.
please.
Yeah, I'm White Jesus. Can you hear me, bro? You good over there? Can you hear me? Am I coming in clear?
Why Jesus? Can you hear?
Can you hear us?
Uh-oh.
yeah, but I wanna say this though.
Can you hear? Can you hear me, White Jesus? Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Yeah, J Bones was gonna ask you a question.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, what's going on with you, bro? Where are you from?
I'm from Detroit, man. I'm from Detroit.
Oh, you from? Oh, okay. Shout out to you, brother. You from the D. I used to live in Grand Rapids, actually.
Oh yeah, you was over in GR, man. It's crazy because I still haven't been. I've been to different places in Michigan, man, but I still haven't been to Grand Rapids
before.
Yeah, but it's a up and
wanted
coming city though.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a question. Are you full FBA? Are you African American?
I'm African American, man. I'm African American.
Okay.
But
I wanted to ask you something. What do you think about all this craziness that's going on? Do you think that a lot of? Can you hear me?
It's bull crap, bro. It's crap, man. I grew up in a Pan African community here. Detroit is like the blackest city in the inner city in the country. You know what I'm saying? Even though it has all its problems, but I think at one time we had the most the African centered schools, elementary, middle school, and high schools here in Detroit at one time. And
Yep,
of course,
yep.
man,
I remember
that changed, man. So even right now, like, I haven't been to the Shrine of the Black Madonna. It's the Pan African Orthodox Christian Church. I haven't been to actual service in like years or whatever, but a couple years because of COVID. But they just got, man, once they like took everything over there, man, they got like 2 or 3 churches I think over in Liberia right now. I think someone else they're putting one up in Ghana, and the brother from Nigeria is bringing it over there. But a lot of people, when people think about the church, of course we got a lot of bad connotations about it or whatever. But the Shrine of the Black Madonna was like it's one of the first Pan African communities actually in the country. They actually started doing and implementing the things that Marcus Garvey did, with Jeramogi Bebe Ajiman, the founder of the church, or Robert Cleave. And he was one of the people in the shrine, was one of the people that were behind getting a lot of the black mayors in the cities in the 80s. Including Kwame Kilpatrick. Kwame Kilpatrick, our mayor that went to jail, he he's out now, but he grew up in the church. You know what I'm saying? So I was surrounded by the whole Pan-African mentality. I mean, I didn't grow up there, but I joined it later. I bypassed like Nation of Islam and all these other subgroups or whatever. So we've been on the ground. I was supposed to go to Benin like years ago before this one brother died when they were trying to get the Africa Town in Detroit. I know they got it in Mobile, Alabama. But this new thing, man, with YouTube, is like a gift and a curse. You know what I'm saying?
People are mad on YouTube. I want you guys. I want you gentlemen to address this. Address this really quickly. You see the comment on the screen by David Johnson.
Yeah, we can see it. Mr. Ola, for future reference, you might be careful with those type of languages there, because it does affect the rhythm, the algorithm. You don't want that type of stuff on the channel.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I'm taking
a
little risk.
Social media platforms, bro.
Yeah, you're gonna have to clear that later on.
Yeah, Yeah. So address him. Don't address the particular. You know. See if
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
is there
but
anything you would say to him.
yeah, I'm white Jesus. Just tell me how you feel about this, because you know what it is. In my opinion, brother, like for the last couple of years, I was telling Mr. Ola, it looks like we're bridging the gap pretty strong. It looks like we've been bridging the gap pretty damn strong with our African brothers and our African American brothers. But all of a sudden, this thing just comes out of nowhere, and we kind of taking 50 steps back. What do you think, bro?
Well, yeah, I remember a lot of being again the Shrine of the Black Madonna. I seen a lot of these characters. They were starting to come around in the early 2000s. This whole Aboriginal movement started with the Moors and the Nawabians and stuff like that. Malachi York, that guy, he got locked up for pedophilia and child molestation and everything. You know what I'm saying? He had that land down in what was that? He got that land down in and it was in Georgia, like in the 90s. You know, it was a guy from New York or whatever. You know, but you got to remember, a lot of these fringe movements, they broke off of the Pan African movement with Marcus Garvey, and then later on, you know, the brothers like Sheikh Anta Job and all the different brothers that were going to Egypt and Africa and doing the anthropology work. These same groups were taking from them, you know, because this is the thing. Everybody wants to flock to something that's sexy. So by them not knowing West African history, these same Aboriginal dudes, what's the main thing they focus on? They focus on the pyramids and what is that? Mexico. They focus on structures. They focus on everything. Notice they focus on everything that the white man holds up dear. So if it's the pyramids in Egypt, even though, you know, if you go back in antiquity, the ancient Egyptians were black. We're not from ancient Egypt. We're from West Africa. But cats jump over to ancient Egypt, right? Now these cats are jumping over to Mexico, or they go to Israel, or they going to India, or whatever with the chakras, man. And this is the thing we have to, and that's the importance of owning and putting the culture, West African culture, out there strong, because these people, a lot of them don't know, so they bypassed a lot of the Pan African movement and everything. You know, I was going to the bookstore every day, bro, like studying, man, like reading. I used to go to the Shrine of the Black Madonna. That's how I got in there, because they had one of the first black bookstores. I go there, I'm reading, I'm studying African history, man. And a lot of these cats, they just don't know. So if you notice, you look at the age group of these FBA guys, it's older people in it, but most of these are like kids. They're like 19, they're like 20.
Right.
You
typical YouTube demographic.
Exactly. Younger kids.
Yeah. That's the thing. I'm white Jesus. I started to notice that too. I'm like, it's a lot. Oh, my bad, Kenneth. You wanted to say something?
So
Yeah,
it's too
I
many.
wanted
So
to
it's
say,
a lot of trolling going on, I guess, right?
yeah, it's a lot of trolling, but I've noticed one thing. There's still something that can bring everybody together. Now, it's not definitely not politics or geopolitical issues, definitely not. And these 19, 20-year-olds, they are loud, but they are not that many. Because what I've noticed is that the people who initially would have championed this division, which are actually the older generation, a lot of them are not seeing it in the same context, and I'll tell you why. There are some movements that have a way of connecting the FBA, ADOS, African Americans, Continental Africans, everybody together. And I think because of how stigmatized these movements are, so the popular world or the outer world, they don't focus on them. But I tell you, it's getting bigger, and even though it might have its issues, it's doing the work of bringing everybody together. I'm talking about movements like all these Hotep movements or Black Hebrew Israelites. Personally, I have done fellowships or meetings with South Africans and Black Americans. Everybody in the same Zoom meeting. Everybody talking about themselves, talking about the continent. How to there's even an American who relocated to Ghana, another one relocated to Tanzania, and they're involved in bringing African Americans from the US to Tanzania and other countries around there. And you notice one thing in common. They all believe, even though it might be controversial, even though it might be true or not, they all believe maybe some of them say Jesus was black, or the original Egyptians were black, or the original Israelites were black, and we all descended like this, and they connected some dots and said, "Oh, we are all the same people. Why are we fighting ourselves?" And they start coming together. So I think the earlier we focus more on those little things that bring us together, the better for us. As for the younger ones who are bickering all over YouTube, they're just bickering because they've not yet fallen in line. The more they see people coming together, the more they see people like Tariq Nasheed or Umar Johnson, not the more they see them talking about togetherness, oneness, coming together, exchanging of words together,
Yeah, but that's not. But
their
that's
noise
not
would
popular.
reduce.
That doesn't get the movement. That doesn't
Exactly,
grow. That doesn't grow
exactly,
the movement
exactly.
Yeah.
base, right?
It doesn't grow their personal market. Yeah.
These folks like entertainment. They like
Yeah.
entertainment. They don't like education. This, actually, see, this is the thing why Pan Africanism is important, and it's the way, because it takes work to be a Pan African. To be on the fringe movement, and all I got to do is sit on YouTube and listen to somebody. It's like, it's like going to a church or whatever. And you got,
Right.
you got good pastors or whatever, but you got the guys that take everybody money or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's sitting in there and they feel good for the day.
Yeah.
This is basically what these movements have become without no real work. It's no real direction with Tariq Nasheed's group. Same with the Hebrew Israelites. It's no direction. It's no real direction. It's no real end goal. Same with the Aboriginal movements. There's no real end goal. But Pan Africans are like, okay, we about to put our boots on the ground. Like I said, the one organization, Shrine of the Black Madonna, they're like, all right, we're going to open up these organizations. We're going to get, they're not only doing the organizations over there, but they're helping brothers start businesses in Liberia and different places like that. Now they're
Yep.
down in Nigeria and they're
Yep. Yep.
working. And a lot of
Yep.
people
You're
don't
right.
know about these groups because they're mostly elders and they're dying out. These are elders that started this in the 60s and the 70s when these were the builders. We don't have any builders nowadays. We just have talkers. Nobody's like, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to have this grow even greater so this can provide for the people in that area. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. I
you don't have.
saw. Yeah.
Go
Let me
ahead.
let me cut let me cut in there right now, brother. I am white Jesus. There's a dude. There's an African American brother. He's from Mr. Ola. You might be interested in this. There's a brother from Baton Rouge. He's an African American brother. Yeah. He was in the Air Force. He came into Ghana before the pandemic. A few months before the pandemic hit. He started a business, some sort of I think it was a fishing business or some sort of fishing, and he put together like a health business. The dude he's a millionaire now. Bro is a millionaire. Like, and he might be from a different side of our culture. He might be African American, but I'm looking at him and I'm like, yo, shout out to that brother. He getting money. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he getting money, and I'm thinking to myself, and I'm like, yo, that's what I be trying to promote. That, like, I'm white Jesus. Like, trust me, I've seen plenty of African Americans go into Africa, and they didn't turn this thing 360 and gotten rich real quick. So when I see people like Tariq talking this BS, I'm like, wait, hold on, what are you talking about? Like, I'm seeing plenty of African Americans down there just getting paper,
Getting bread, bro. I mean,
getting
look
real
at
bread,
it.
getting real paper. It don't take that much too, because here's the thing. Tariq was on the Twitter space one time, and he was like, yo, over there in Ghana, you need a bag to operate, and you got to come in with a big bag and the right to abode and all this other stuff, and there's a lot of red tape. And I'm like, that just sounds like a whole bunch of excuses, because the dude across the street from me back home in
So
Ghana,
what's the goal of that? Was he trying to discourage people from?
I think he was trying to make it seem like we don't
Like it's
rock
not
with
all
our
that.
brothers. Yeah, like we don't rock with our African American brothers and sisters. Like, we don't give them enough help. And I'm like, hey, Mr. Ola, back home in Ghana, I've seen the Trinidadians. Some of these brothers coming from Trinidad, they built a business in less than a week. And
Yeah,
Wow.
because people support them. They get
people
behind them.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
And
you
it's
just
like,
need to make friends
Yeah.
there, and
yeah,
it will be
Mr.
easier.
Kenneth, you know how Africa works. You need to find the honest people and the right people who are
Yeah,
going to support you. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah,
Yeah, but the thing
yeah.
about it is that when it comes to our African American brothers and sisters, when they come into Ghana or they come into any place, even Nigeria, I've heard some of the brothers from Texas, some of the African American brothers from Texas, they go into Nigeria and they start a construction company, and next thing you know, they got a whole bunch of big bag running around in money. So the truth about it is that it's a lie. We do support situations that do help our African American brothers. If Caribbeans can come in there and get it done, trust me, African Americans can get it done even easier.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of that stuff is just, I'd just be confused, but it's a lot of confusion going on right now. I'm White Jesus. Like, I think Tariq then took us back another 50 years.
I mean, these dudes are doing agent work, bro. He talk about being on code. He's one of the most, I mean, in one sense, it's like, all right, we're going to point out this coonery over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we got to point out the coonery in the United States. Like we got to point out the coonery in the Dominican Republic. You know what I'm saying? All of us have been touched by this because the white man has infiltrated all this. You feel what I'm saying? But when you harp on this stuff every single day, like he doesn't even have his regular like talking points, and like, you know, he'll go off and he's like, okay, I'm doing 1804 and all that. He's not even doing that anymore. He's doing stuff, but he's harping on this every single day.
Because
every live stream. Like we used to talk about stuff that made sense.
Because again, if you have ulterior motives, or if you're weak, if your message is weak, if your vision is weak, right? You're gonna chase the bag, because if your topic is hot, the algorithms want you to keep doing it. To be honest with you, I'd rather not even talk about this anymore. But again, if I show you my analytics right now, it's the hottest topic on this platform.
It is. Yeah. I mean, he had 30,000 people in one Twitter room. I said, damn, like I was trying to get into I was trying to find out how to get into
He was kicking out. The guy was kicking out Nigerians from that space.
Yeah, of course, and of course, the first people that you got to kick out in those spaces are the Nigerians, because they're gonna give you a tough time. Tariq does not want to get into any debates with Nigerians.
So
they
J
would
Bones,
clean
right?
him so fast. They would clean him so fast. It's not even a.
So J Bones, right? So iron rule of Tomasi 1: frame is everything. I gotta get my frame back, you know, because these motherfuckers are trying to take my frame away from me. I wanted to talk about how to help men build relationships, solid relationships. Yep. That's what I wanted to. That's what I created the channel about. The first 100 videos was about that, and somehow we talked about some feminine bullshit, and it's taking over. And you know, we got to get the frame back. But anyway, I really, really appreciate you gentlemen coming on. I got to wind it down now. Thank you so much. I am White Jesus. You made it. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna touch back in, bro.
Yeah, please, let's talk about it. It's all linked together. Especially men, you know, we have a lot of work to do, because our women they follow. They're trying to follow, and if there's nothing to follow, they won't follow. That's just the way it works, you know. Right. So we got to get it together, you know. So I want to talk. I will continue the conversations for as long as they're talking about it too. I'll just find a balance. I'll find a balance there, you know. The manosphere, the FBA versus African thing, I think is bullshit. But I think the way we had a conversation today, I think we can continue to do that in a more constructive manner, where we can remind people that we're one. At the end of the day, we're one, and we're not going to help anyone, including ourselves, by at least in the long term. The algorithms may reward you short term for bullshit talks, but long term we're going to suffer, you know. Go ahead, Kenneth.
Yep. Yeah, I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity. Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Like to
thank
do
you.
This again.
Everybody, please follow Kenneth on his Twitter, Truthologic. That thing that tongue sweeter, man. Yeah. Truthologic. Yes. Please follow him.
Yeah.
Nah. You know, you're my boy, man. We got it. We'll do it again, man. You know. But I come here at 5 p.m. on Thursdays, 5 p.m. New York time, on Mondays and Thursdays. and I also drop many videos in between. So your supports are highly appreciated. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Peace, brother.
Yeah, take care. Take care.
Thank you.
Let me see here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We had a good time. I'll be dropping some videos between today, tomorrow, before we come back on Thursday again. Hopefully, you've been enlightened, educated. We need to get it right. Gentlemen, the feminine thing is a real thing. We need to get our frame back. We need to lead. We need to stop asking for permission to lead. Leaders don't ask for permissions to lead. That's not how it works. It's either you're a leader or you're not a leader. That's the way it works, okay? It's either a leader or you're not a leader. If there's a bigger level of challenge, then we need to assume the position. We need to engage the challenge, and we need to defeat that. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you on the next one, and peace.